What's up, everybody? This is Brody, Charlie, and Tudong Dylan from the Talk Punch YouTube channel and podcast, where we talk movies, do lists, rankings, and more, and you are about to listen to the Keeping Up with the Cardassians podcast. Enjoy!
Wow. What is that music? It's the new and improved Keeping Up with the Cardassians theme song. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Cardassians. This is Nick.
This is Rob.
This is Joe.
With special guest, Sean. But this is our new theme song. It was delivered to us by a good fan, Cole. And the title of the song is Spoonhead. So welcome to Keeping Up with the Cardassians again. As you know, we are a podcast.
You'll get it later.
You will.
It's a cover.
Sean looked confused.
It's a Star Trek reference to Spoon Man.
It's a racial
slur.
Racial
racial
slur against the Cardassians.
Right,
they call them spoonheads.
Perfectly fits your guys' show then.
But anyways, welcome to the podcast. We are a podcast that focuses on pop culture stuff. So we talk about movies, TV shows, music, video games, toys, comic books,
porn,
drugs,
alcohol. All those things. And right now we are working our way through a review of Star Trek The Next Generation. We are in season 1.
Still?
We are.
It doesn't end.
It's going to be a while. We got 2 episodes to review today. The episodes are Haven and The Big Goodbye. And Sean is here as a guest host because, you know, we were talking the other day and we're like, we don't have enough white males on this podcast. We need better representation.
True.
So we talked to Sean and we said, can you add some representation to the show? No, actually, Sean reached out to us and he's like, these episodes, I want to talk about these episodes.
I can make your show
sound
better.
Needy. I was like,
Please bring me on.
It's so good. It's such a good show.
No, I didn't even say that. I just said.
We left that part out.
We left that part out. You're spoiling it.
All right, sorry.
Sean said, your show sucks. I can make it better.
Yeah,
That sounds more accurate.
it does suck, though.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst podcast you could listen to.
Yeah.
But here they are. Listening,
here we are.
Like idiots.
I must
Suckers.
also warn you that Nick is slightly high today. And I just got to put that out there right away.
Nick's on drugs.
Nick is on a narcotic. I had an elbow procedure yesterday. I just took the narcotic.
Your right or left elbow?
Left.
My left elbow.
I didn't know you're left-handed.
I am a lefty. See? I even still got this thing on. I don't know why.
That's for your inevitable fall into the gutter. They can identify you.
He's looking at his hospital ID wristband.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I should tell them
The
that.
audio.
Yeah, I know. I got you. So anyways,
It's
I
the,
watch
it's
on
the,
YouTube because
Do
I
you?
like to see your guys' faces.
Aww.
do
like
you
I-
watch do you watch on YouTube?
I do. I
Oh.
put it on a second monitor at work. I get to stare right at Joe.
Aw.
Thank God for Joe.
Yes.
Oh gosh. I hate
Smile
Joe.
on his face.
I hate Joe so much. Actually, so
just the drugs
we're
talking.
filming. We're on.
Remote.
We're remote. We're not remote.
We're remote from our studio. We are.
You imply remote like we're zooming right now. Dude, we're at Joe's house, and it's pretty fantastic because Joe's house came with donuts today,
That's right.
and
It was part of the sale.
it was part of the sale, and an adorable dog who pees on people if you greet the dog.
It's my alarm system. It's my
Which
home
actually,
security.
and actually, when I say dog, I'm saying DAWG because that is Joe. He pees on people.
Who's the doctor that gave you the drugs? That's what I want to know.
Dr. Feelgood.
How does this person have a
He's the
license
one who
to
makes you feel
practice?
all right.
All right.
And if Joe's into it, who are we to judge?
Dr. Love gave him to me. Dr. Pepper. Dr. Zhivago.
Dr. Acula.
Dr. Dr.
Nice.
Dr. Strangelove. I'm running out of doctors.
We can stop.
Dr.
Dr.
Who?
Cox
Dr. Cox.
from the worst show of all time.
You're dropping Scrubs references.
I know. It's the only scrub
Uncharacteristic.
reference. I know.
Dr. Gray from Grey's Anatomy. Totally realistic show, just for the record.
I texted Rob and Nick while they were on the cruise without you. Like a bunch of dicks.
Hey, we moved past that.
I specifically told them
We as in you and Rob again and not me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
that I wanted the episode that aired on Monday to be you sitting alone in the studio talking to yourself about 2 Seinfeld episodes.
It would
could
have
do that.
been. It would have been pretty great, actually. It would have been pretty great.
That would have been great.
But you didn't do it
No, I didn't.
because
do
you
it.
have no drive. We are the ones who carry this show.
Well, you guys were gone. I was actually in a deep depression that Monday.
Oh, I think we all were.
Yeah, we were all in a deep. Well, Sean wasn't.
I was unfazed.
Yeah.
Unfazed.
I
Unfazed.
may have been
Hockey
drunk.
for life.
On Monday? Not on Monday.
No?
No.
Oh, it's, yeah.
We didn't really get drunk the rest of the week.
No, not too
No,
much.
Sunday.
You just coasted that Sunday, just rode that Sunday buzz through the week.
Dude, Sunday we started, like Rob and I both started drinking 3 o'clock when the Ravens game started.
AM.
And by the end of it, we probably had 30 drinks between both of us, between 3 and 11. And it was
That's
bad.
not bad.
And multiple large pizzas.
Yes, we ate the hell out of pizza.
Oh my gosh, we dominate that pizza on that cruise
You got
ship.
to sop up the alcohol.
Yep.
My
The
God.
alcohol needs something to eat.
I'm so distracted by this dog who's laying there like, come hither right
Oh
now.
no, he likes it. He lays on his back and just shines his dick to the sky.
That's what my dog,
That's my go-to move.
Murphy does that, but she shines her vajayjay to the sky.
They're made for each other.
They're made for each other, except for he would break her. She's a tiny
If she
20-pound Cocker Spaniel.
If she dies, she dies.
If she dies, she dies. Okay, this we're way off track. So, anyways,
It's fine. It's like if I'm not talking, it's because I'm like, oh, live. I'm seeing the show live.
well, they're not editing this thing. This thing is garbage.
They really don't edit.
So, in the second half, though, we are going to review those 2 episodes. I'm interested to hear what Sean has to say. For some reason, he feels very passionate about these episodes, so we're going to find out. But that's going to be in the second half. First half, though, we catch up on everything that's going on in the world. And there's a few things I did want to share with you that I found. First of all, the most important is this one. No, not really. That's not what I wanted to share. Did you know Robert Downey Jr.
is dead.
once interviewed, or once
Man,
Auditioned.
after the Matthew Perry incident,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Cardassians,
Do
shut
not-
your fucking mouth.
do not kill Robert Downey Jr. He auditioned for the Scarecrow.
I did know that.
in Batman Begins. I did not know that. That would have been a pretty solid casting.
It would have been a
actually.
great casting. Cillian Murphy did a great job, but
Cillian Murphy did a great job.
it would have been terrible for the MCU if he
I-
didn't do both.
He would have done both. I think.
Remind me of the timeline.
2005 versus 8.
2008.
Okay, I thought Iron Man was 2008.
May
I
5th?
can never nail down the
Second?
I can never nail down the Nolan trilogy years.
But Cillian Murphy was in all 3. So he appeared at the Kangaroo
That's
Court.
right,
In the
yeah.
third one, the second one, he was the drug dealer at
the beginning.
very beginning.
There was a third one.
I know.
I wish I could forget it.
There's some good parts
I
to
went
it.
and saw it with Rob. It was a very
Disappointing.
uncomfortable experience.
Because of the erection.
They killed the Steelers.
That, and it was like 30 minutes after a shooting.
Oh,
And I think
yeah.
everyone in line was just sort of like looking at everybody else. Like,
So-
that wasn't as prevalent.
But
at
the
that
Henry
time.
Ford,
But
though.
you should-
Yeah.
So
okay, seeing that
I saw it at the Henry Ford as well. The Dark Knight Rises.
Did
Same.
you see it?
I saw
And-
all 3 of them there.
And
Were we there together and didn't
no,
know it?
because
Is
in-
this Kismet?
because you would know this because in the middle of ours, the power went completely out. Everything turned off, and
Yes.
people started screaming because this was literally
Yeah.
Everybody scream.
yeah. This was like a couple days after
drop
the
the
shooting.
disco ball, turn up
And
the bass.
all it was that the machine overheated and it tripped the breaker. So we had a 5-minute delay, and then they started the movie back up. But it
what-
was right as his back was getting broken by Bane. That it went. He's like, "I will break you," and then he picks him up, and then he like,
He broke the theater.
yeah.
But if you, like that shooting made it relaxed me. Because what are the odds it's going to happen at 2
Oh my-
theaters
You
for
know
the
what?
same movie? Like I can go and
I actually did think that while we were there. Like I was like,
yeah.
Copycats,
What are the
though.
odds?
Yeah.
Copycats. I mean, that's the school shooters, right? They're all copycats.
Yeah, but you were there the same night.
No, I think I know we
Wait,
went- I
where
think we-
were you in Colorado?
But I mean, I don't think there's a. They
Too
usually
soon.
don't have coordinated efforts.
That's true.
Yeah, it's just
no-
usually copycats who are mentally.
No kiss the girls.
Nice
Ooh,
reference.
That's a nice reference. Wow, we bring you here for the bang up references.
I
Right?
know.
And the diversity.
Spoiler for kiss the girls though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thanks.
So Robert Downey Jr. was originally going to be in Batman. So that was the first one I wanted to say. The other one I wanted to say has to do with the Eternals. Did you hear the story about Kumail Nanjiani?
Nailed it.
I think I did, right?
Close enough, I think.
Yeah.
He sought therapy after the Eternals because like everyone was expecting Eternals to be this massive.
No one was expecting that.
Well, apparently Marvel was.
No.
And they sent him on these world tours as the reviews were getting worse and worse. And they were just getting ripped on these tours. And the interview questions were. And he's actually sought therapy after that. Because, I'm laughing, but that's terrible. I shouldn't laugh at that. But
you should.
You should.
You should.
How much money was he paid? He gets to
A
travel
ton,
around the
a
world,
fuck
and a
ton.
movie gets kind of blasted because it wasn't that great. And he starts talking about how he has to go to therapy.
I guess that's true. It's like, oh, I feel so
I
bad for
kind
you.
of just want, like Alyssa Milano's and their GoFundMe's to just kind of stop, just for a little bit.
That's a good.
There's some bigger fish to fry.
That's an interesting story.
I don't know that story. Tell me about that story.
Alyssa Milano put together a GoFundMe
For travel baseball?
for travel baseball for her son to go to Cooperstown.
It's
Are
like-
you kidding me?
You know how much money she's trying to raise?
How much?
$10,000.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Go away, Alyssa Milano.
Yeah, so when the dude from the Eternals, I'm not going to say his name because I'm going to
Kumail
butcher it,
Nanjiani.
and
Perfect.
I'm going to get
Home
accused
run.
of racism. Starts whining about, I don't know. I mean, I did, Mental Health Awareness Month.
Why do you say it that way?
Wait, is it?
Man, am I glad Sid's not here.
Is it Mental Health Awareness Month?
I think it is.
Are you co-opting Black History Month? Are you just?
I'm not. I don't have mental health.
We brought him
I
on
beg
here
to
for
differ.
Yeah,
Let me
true.
find out. Mental Health Awareness Month is May 1st through May 31st.
All right.
Wow,
Wow, Sean.
you're trying to cancel Black History
I'm
Month?
trying to make it shorter.
Jesus Christ. We're losing
Sean is-
viewers left
Sean
and right.
is whitewashing Black History Month.
You guys brought me in for the representation.
Gosh, this is terrible.
But seriously,
Where does
All
it?
right, seriously.
because the jokes for the whole Eternals, I mean, every comment was like, I needed to seek therapy after I saw it too.
I know.
I didn't think it was that bad.
It was. You know what it should have been?
What?
It should have been a 12-episode Disney Plus series.
Kind of like
You did not get enough time to get to know any of those characters.
Kinda like the
nor would
Inhumans?
you-
Yes. Turn the terrible 2.5-hour movie into a 12-hour
oh,
piece of
I,
work.
I should not randomly snap because it brings dogs over. But they did that with Inhumans, and that was garbage.
I didn't even.
It was garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. The woman with the hair was terrible.
I don't think post Endgame you should have. Like, here's the thing.
I think you reset the universe.
Even amongst comic book fans.
Let's
the Eternals
preface a little
are
bit
not
like you are a Marvel. I don't want to say elitist, but you're very well versed in Marvel.
Yes.
Elitist.
Thank you. I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
I think Sean.
Sid-
I think Sean would say. it.
the
Sid
Sid
would
right
say
now
it.
is screaming it.
The correct word is elitist, sir. Thank you very much.
God. Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
So, no one wanted it.
After the Eternals.
Yeah. Not even after Endgame. I mean, no one wanted it.
So why
period.
do you think Marvel
There's
did
not,
it?
Why do
Because
I
they thought they were
Because
unstoppable.
they thought they were unstoppable.
Do you think
Nobody
that's what
wanted what?
I
The,
actually?
the MCU
Listen.
post.
Everyone
Endgame?
was nervous about Guardians of the Galaxy. As a longtime comic book fan,
Yeah.
even that was the moment where I was like, a talking tree and a fucking raccoon is
Yeah.
going to be a hard sell to like my sister.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Fucking loves those things.
Yeah.
But it the first one hit at the right time.
Oh, I mean, it's
Perfect
going to be
time.
that generation's, dare I say it, Star Wars?
It
that
is.
allowed
I
on
think
here?
you're right. I think you're right. No,
Bro,
that's fine with me. Because what did
Well, I
they
mean, I
have?
hate them, but
I
I
think-
Do
Do you think Guardians?
That's
of the
right.
No,
Gal-
not the Guardians
You
movies.
can
I love
like
the Guardians.
both. You can like both. What do you? That's
I'm
like
from the Rob school, okay? There's a
Star Wars is dumb.
saying you're from Rob School is not the compliment you think it
I'm
is.
No,
Fine.
it doesn't.
I
It doesn't,
like-
it doesn't have the traction you think.
I like Star Wars.
A2.
Just not as much as Trek.
Just not the trilogy.
A2?
The newer ones. Do you like the newer ones?
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, like,
Brutus.
what I don't like is that we're living in a post-red letter media world
Yeah.
where everyone gets off on, like, dumping on everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. You've told me.
I
that
can just
before,
be
yeah.
like, not for me, and move
Yeah.
on. But I don't have to, like, rage against
and
it.
then
Well, that's
yell
what
at
the
people
way I
for
am.
liking it.
Yeah, Just not my thing.
I did when the Marvels came out. I saw it. I was mostly thrilled that it was like an hour and a half. Like I was like, how refreshing to go
We've
to a
talked
movie.
about that a lot.
It was an hour and a half. So nice, right?
Right.
And I dared put that opinion on the internet.
Oh, how dare you?
Ooh.
People came.
I
at
did
me.
not know that I was being paid by Disney.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I know. People.
But I heard that
You're
all
a shill.
weekend.
Yeah, you're a Disney shill.
I was like, oh,
Where
man.
are the residuals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you're bringing that here with you because that'd be great.
A good fan fights back against that kind of stuff, Sean.
I did.
I know.
Oh.
No, I'm
I
saying like
busted
the
out
other
some-
way, like where they would be like, a good fan calls it garbage because it was garbage, right? Like that's what they do, right? They're like,
Yeah.
I am a fan, which is why I know it's crap. And it's like, no, shut up. Go away. No one likes you.
Life's too short to
Watch
sit
Marvel
around
movies?
and dunk on one season of Star Trek, you fucking jerks.
Speaking of short, Joe, do you have anything to add? Oh, that was. I'm on fire today.
Is that what the name of the drugs are?
Drug
Fire?
kicking in.
My wife wanted to kick me out of the house yesterday.
Success.
She sent me a text saying, "Can you make sure he doesn't do anything stupid today?"
Did she really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So last night, like I'm asleep in bed, right? But apparently I'm not asleep. Like my dreams are actually happening when I'm awake because I'm like screaming and yelling in the bed. And Leslie's like, "Can you chill out? You're awake right now." And I didn't even realize it. There's multiple times where I'm like, I don't know. I can't even say it on air.
You got
gotta get
like
some of
fever,
these.
dreams, sweat, drug boners?
Yeah, kind of, like it was bad, man. It was bad. And they were fine the rest of the day, but at nighttime,
How long
it was
does
the
this
dreams.
How
It
long
was
does this last?
4 to 6 hours.
When did you get it?
Like an hour ago, right before I left, I took the pills.
You took
Did
them
you
to get
did you
drugs?
give any to us?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
dang it.
I'm sorry.
You didn't roofie us?
I'm sorry. She told me not to take it, though. Leslie did. She said, "Why don't you just take Tylenol
Do
instead?"
you have to take one of these before church tomorrow, please?
Oh
no,
my gosh.
no. I'm not going to take them tomorrow. I think today I'm going to be.
Praise the Most High, and that is Nick.
Yeah.
I'm going to be done with them today.
Just be up there dancing the group.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like in pain during our episode today.
Now, how
so
did you take that? Orally, anally? Did you snort it?
I
Shoot
did
it up?
all of them, all of the ways, every single way I could think of. I did it. Topical, all over.
Just
all
made
over.
made a paste out of it.
Made a lotion out of it.
It puts the lotion on the skin, or else it gets the hose again. It does. So, anyways, Nick's got that tramadol going. We're way off topic again.
That kind of is our thing.
I know it's kind of our thing. Joe, do you have any fun news though that or fun things that you want to talk about?
No, next.
All right. I'm just going to mention I started watching the series Ted
Yeah,
with the based on the movies.
yeah.
Oh, I started watching something recently too.
It's been very enjoyable so far. Not like fantastic, but I've enjoyed.
It's been recommended to me as well.
I've actually enjoyed it more than the movies.
No way. The movies
Yeah.
were fantastic.
No, movies were tens.
I don't know. I know it's really hard to look at everyone.
Ted
isn't it?
1's a 10. Ted 2's probably a 9.
Dude, Ted 2 is such a guilty pleasure because of all the Michael Dorns there dressed up as a clean. That's great. So,
Cool.
Ted, I recommend it so far. I'm 5 episodes in. I would not watch it around children, especially episode 3.
Yeah, I made that mistake a little bit yesterday. I started watching it
No.
with Eli in the room, and yeah,
No.
it was not a good idea.
No, bro.
So he left
Okay,
the room.
good idea.
And then I tried to put on Robin Hood Men in Tights, and I'm like, sit down and watch this with me because this movie is fantastic.
Yes, it is.
And he's like, no, I'm going to go play Fortnite because they released a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing for it.
I mean, that's a good argument for that. I don't like
Yeah.
Fortnite.
What's your problem
But-
with Ninja Turtles, man?
Huh?
Yeah.
What's your problem with Ninja Turtles?
Nothing,
man?
but like
Yeah.
Fortnite has to have everything now.
Yeah, they're a juggernaut.
In this room,
I know
which
they're
turtle
honest.
are we all?
I'm a Leonardo guy.
You think you're Leonardo? I think you're more on the Donatello end.
You think I'm Donatello?
In this group?
Oh, if the 4 of us?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Probably.
That would be my thought.
I wouldn't be the Michelangelo.
Who would be Michelangelo?
I like pizza. I'm an idiot.
We all like pizza.
This guy thinks he's everybody's favorite.
I know.
I thought everyone's
favorite-
favorite was Raphael.
My favorite's Leonardo,
I thought
followed by Raphael.
yeah, Raphael.
My favorite's Donatello.
Man, Raphael swearing in that first Turtles movie
Blew my mind.
Blew my mind.
I was like, oh, dang. I
Damn.
was like, oh, dang.
So Leo, Donnie, Raph.
No, you're a Raph.
I don't think I have an anger problem.
What are you guys saying?
you admit to at one point in time having anger issues.
This checks out.
Yeah. So,
So
I got to prove that change. That
And
change.
he's a sarcastic asshole.
oh, who's Splinter then?
Sydney.
She fed us.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's true.
That's
That's true. That's true.
Splinter.
Thanks, T. I don't know if we can say T's name on air, so I'm just going to call her T.
Go ahead.
Can I call you TT? Oh, no, I'm not going to call you TT.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's weird.
There. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the drugs. Just
It was,
That wasn't. That's the worst
That's
part.
just Nick.
I started watching.
you've got a 24-hour pass though. You can just blame everything on the drugs, man.
That's true. I do.
Oh, you have a 4 to 6 hour pass.
I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me.
They do. They do.
I started watching Reba.
Reba. The comedy? The TV show?
The classic.
The classic?
Isn't that the one
Because
with,
it was on.
The missus watches it with the little guy, so I've seen quite a few episodes.
Oh yeah, on Hallmark.
Yeah.
I watch it.
I don't know what it is.
We're watching it at the same time.
I don't know what it is about
Cheers.
Reba, but like it really, there's something about her that,
Really does it for you. Gets the motor going.
no, exact opposite.
Weirdo.
It's the very thick Southern accent.
No, that makes it worse.
Just a poor girl, but what's how does the song go? I don't know, her theme song.
The I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor.
I love that everybody like.
Nick hates the South. Everyone.
Yeah.
I'm from West Virginia, sir.
Well, there's
I can
Reba,
make fun of the South.
Reba Vance. Her daughter's
Bob
name
Vance?
is Cheyenne.
Oh.
And the ex-husband's new wife is
Barbara Jean.
Jean.
Oh
Jesus
my
Christ.
gosh.
You two.
It's not like they're helping the stereotypes.
What's the husband's name? The husband's name is.
Did you guys just become best
I
friends?
feel like it starts with a D.
Dwayne?
No, it's probably
No.
not. It's not.
Dwayne.
Dwayne. Ooh,
One of
Dwayne.
your listeners is going to know.
Yeah.
There's someone on our
There's
team.
There's someone yelling at us right now.
I think that after Next Gen, since you guys have never given Joe a choice, all Reba. All
Reba.
The time.
You got to understand one thing. I hate the Southern accent.
You'll hate the show.
I love the Southern accent.
If you've
Not the deep,
you'll never
deep-
watch it, but it is a guilty. It's a guilty watch. It's
Just like,
it's really bad.
That
Like,
Tim Allen show, what was it called?
I actually like that show.
What was the
Last Man
one with,
Standing.
Thank you. Couldn't think of it.
What was the one with? She was the comedian in the mid '90s.
Grace Under Fire.
Great. Yes.
Got
yes,
you.
where she was an alcoholic or something like
Yeah.
that in the
Yeah.
show. That was a guilty pleasure.
That was a good show.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
They still that used to be on a little bit.
Do you guys say guilty pleasure in a way where like you're hoping if I say this is a guilty pleasure, nobody will bust my balls for it? Because I think that's weird. Like I'm like when it comes to music and stuff like that, I'm like I just like what I like.
Yeah, I don't think I have guilty pleasures.
I don't have a guilty pleasure. I unabashedly watch Reba. I
I
love
don't-
it.
Yeah, I guess I don't look at guilty pleasure because there's nothing I'm ever ashamed about. Like I may joke and be like it's a guilty pleasure, but it's really not. I don't
Yeah,
really.
like, I love Mariah Carey's music. And
Right,
people
I
usually
know.
look like I'm
Sorry.
crazy.
You saw her in concert.
I did.
It's awesome.
It was fantastic.
In 2023, you saw her in concert.
That's right.
That's a interesting move.
I want to see
Hey,
T Swizzle in concert.
I had to do it
personally.
before. That's
Start
like
saving up now.
the one I had to cross off.
Yeah. Before you couldn't anymore.
Yep, exactly.
Did she sing for most of it?
I would
heard
say about 80%, 70%, 70, 80%.
I doubt that.
No, I'm telling you, dude.
he was there.
I was there. You weren't.
He was a couple of all I want for Christmas is yous into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that drink was fantastic.
Yeah, he was into it big time.
I was singing.
Joe, can I ask you a personal question?
Go. I'm an open book. Go ahead.
How have you not murdered him about his constant dismissal of the Beatles? I
Honestly,
can't tell you guys.
I
Every time
do-
music gets brought up in this show,
I do
literally
love Rob.
Ashley is like, "Is everything going okay with work?" Because I am screaming at my computer.
I don't understand how
I do.
you.
I do love Rob, but it is the one thing that I can't. It's the biggest
Well,
in the negative.
So
You
category.
just hear white noise when he starts saying it.
Yeah,
Your
I just
brain
tune
shuts
out.
off.
here's
I
the
tune him
worst
out.
part. He's passed along this bad taste to his daughter. So his daughter is super into musicals, right? And we were all together for a week a couple weeks ago.
We were around each other a lot.
We were around each other for some reason. I don't know why.
On the yacht you guys bought from all your royalties that you've kept from Joe. Yeah, we
Yeah,
heard.
exactly.
Surprise.
So his daughter is super into musicals, and I'm like, "Have you seen Across the Universe? It's the Beatles musical. It's really solid. I really enjoyed it." And she's like, "No, the Beatles are the worst." I'm like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me, kid. The Beatles are fantastic. Anything by George Harrison is gold."
Yeah.
You love Hanson.
I do.
I'm not knocking Hanson, but what do you think their number one influence is?
I don't know. It's not the Beatles.
It's probably the Beatles.
No.
My guess is it would be the Beatles. You're on a Star Trek podcast.
Yes.
You love Deep Space Nine.
Yes.
The original series is the Beatles of Star Trek, and
Yes.
you're like,
No,
you wouldn't have Deep Space Nine
No.
without...
TOS is more of the Rolling Stones.
What?
No.
It is not.
TNG is more the Rolling Stones.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
You're an idiot. I hate you so much. Gosh, you're the worst.
If you're
Literally.
going for time period, it would probably be the Nirvana.
That's actually true.
What
That's
is
a little
this?
early.
Is this gang up on
Yes.
Nick Day?
Well, actually,
Guns
you guys
N'
are ganging up
Roses.
on me because of my Beatles take.
Oh, Sean, did you hear? I want to bring up something from the past that makes Nick look bad. Did you hear when he
It's
said
not
that
a cult.
Chicago was
Oh.
more influential than Metallica?
Oh, trust me, I did. That was the day. That was the episode where like Ashley came downstairs and she was like, "Did something really go wrong at work?" And I was like, because there was like no one had mentioned Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers yet in the
He was coming up.
American like,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, that's number one, like without a doubt, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
I will
is
agree.
the number one
I will have.
American rock and roll band. But yeah, Chicago, or like.
It's not a bad take.
And it's like you're talking about two versions of one band. And something just told me, even for the little bit that we knew each other at that point, that you were talking Peter fucking Cetera Chicago.
I know. I'm
Not even jazz high on
I know. I was
tramadol
talking about the
Chicago.
Yeah, I know. But and here's the thing.
And something tells me
he
you're
was a
more familiar with
bassist, too.
Cetera's solo work than you are his work in
No,
Chicago.
because he's a bassist, and I don't give respect
He's
to
like, yeah, they had
bassists.
that
Who
song
would?
in Karate Kid too. I love that song.
Does he have a song in Karate Kid too?
That song,
Cetera does.
That song's great.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You had
Pull
like
it
a big
up.
theme.
Hey, I've never seen any of the Karate Kid movies though, so that's okay.
God.
Peter Cetera actually
All
has
the
some
way through.
he
I've
does- he
seen
does some
them, but
decent
not all the
work.
way through.
You haven't seen them then.
I've seen the
You have
end.
not seen them.
I've seen the wax on, wax off. I've seen the crane
Oh,
kick.
okay, then you got it.
Yeah. I feel like
It's the journey, man.
I feel like you're being sarcastic with me, and I don't appreciate it.
Oh, we're being sarcastic.
So have you seen How I Met Your Mother?
Yes.
Have you watched Cobra Kai?
No.
Okay. Well, at least you haven't. At least you're like, I haven't. Yeah, I'm glad that you haven't watched Cobra Kai.
No,
But
no.
there's so many jokes in How
Cobra
I Met Your
Kai
Mother
is
that you
so
missed.
good, though.
It is.
Oh yeah.
It has no
I
business
just-
being as good as it is.
I love
no
how
business.
I love how I Met Your Mother. Barney thinks he's the good guy though.
I mean, that whole joke is what gave you Cobra Kai.
Yeah, it's
the
true.
only reason Cobra
Yeah.
Kai exists
that's yeah.
because of that joke.
That's pretty awesome. Actually.
Yeah, it is.
And they kind of did, right? Cobra Kai kind of did that, like where they made Johnny kind of an arrogant prick a little bit, right?
Oh, and yeah, among other things.
Yeah.
Wait, Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
He's still arrogant.
Yeah, but he's more human though.
Yes.
he's more like
It's a
relatable.
nice cup you got there.
It is a beautiful cup. Oh my gosh. Just for the record, we're going to show these on air. Sean brought gifties, nifty gifties. He brought us all NCC 1701 mugs, and they're amazing. Also, real quick, I write the episode synopsises,
Synopsis.
and I don't know.
Nailed it.
I don't know how I'm going to do this episode.
Random crap with keeping up with the Cardassians.
Is it the drug? Are you
What are you
concerned about the
talking
drugs?
about?
Like, what did we talk
You
about?
can just put it in the synopsis that the Beatles suck, and go from there.
No.
I want every episode. Sorry, Spoonhead. I want every show opener to be a Beatles song now.
No.
Yeah,
That
that's
not my
somehow
house.
ties into a Star Trek episode.
You know what band really sucks?
Foo Fighters.
Oh boy.
Tool. All they do is bang a drum.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with Tool,
It's Tool fans.
except for the fans.
Yeah, that's really
The
really.
same thing I feel
signed-
about the Beatles. Well, no, not really.
Signed Radiohead.
I think the Beatles are overrated, and I think their fans are
That would be
relentless.
that would be an interesting thing. Like you know how you go like worst fans in sports, like the Eagles, right? Or Philadelphia, right?
You know what?
Worst fans in music. Who would be the worst fans?
That's a good one.
You know what's the complete opposite of Tool? So the Tool's good. Tool's okay, and the fans are the ones that make them pretentious.
Yeah.
Similar to Radiohead.
Yeah.
U2.
Yeah.
U2
yeah.
has great fans.
Yeah.
It's the band that makes them
Yeah.
pretentious.
It's not even the band. It's Bono.
It's Bono.
It's just Bono. Like the hats off to the other guy. Like everyone, U2's my favorite band. Hats off to Larry Mullen Jr., Adam Clayton, and The Edge for being able to like just keep it
Deal
going.
with that ego.
Well, I mean, they're
It's-
like, all right, cool. We're part of one of the most successful
Right.
bands in the history of the world. No big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can handle. I think we're gonna handle.
Hello.
I liked at the
I'm in a
Grammys when he was just like,
place
thank you, The Edge.
Where'd it go?
I actually do enjoy U2. Actually, I started listening to it more because Sean talked me into it, and there was one day where I was like live texting him as I was listening to the songs. I'm like, oh, this one's solid, and,
Sean tells you to listen to a band that you haven't. And you should.
Dude,
you got me hooked on multiple bands.
that whole thing we did our
I
underrated
know.
bands or whatever it was.
Yeah, you got me hooked.
I'm
on
talking specifically Dave Matthews Band.
Never.
Grace is Gone is a fantastic song.
It is.
Fantastic.
There's a song off I did not really enjoy the newest album.
Neither did I.
But there
Not
was
good.
one song on there, and I cannot think of the name, that I loved.
Sorry, Steve Matthews.
I gotta look it up. I love that you're listen, and I will say this as a Foo Fighters fan, but it's like you really shouldn't be shooting any bullets at anybody when your favorite band is the Foo Fighters.
I know. I get this.
It's rough. I'm with you, but
It's really just like a fake rivalry thing that I was
Sure,
like.
it
I
is.
was doing that to Joe.
It's a bit.
A couple weeks ago after the Lions game. I was like texting him, knowing it was going to piss him off what I was saying, and I was
And it worked.
Yeah, it worked. I know it did. You're probably sitting here.
I was like, I hate these.
talking with people in your house, and you're like, this idiot really thinks.
What are they talking about? I'm like, I was genuinely upset, and you guys are like poking the bear more.
Oh, absolutely. I was just poking the bear.
Well, also alcohol.
That's true.
yeah.
We
It
need
was
to
so
have
fun.
Break Free.
Oh, that's a great song. It's funny that you mentioned that one because that is, I think that's one of the only ones on that album. That's an older song.
Okay.
It's years, probably 5 or 10 years ago was written, and it finally made an album.
Okay.
Sean,
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm curious
Nailed it.
to
Nailed
hear your Star Trek journey.
Oh, you mean like you?
Like how it all started. Like
Okay.
obviously I know it, but
Did
A
I not?
long time ago.
I was worried that I had covered this on the GalaxyCon.
I don't remember if you did or
You
not,
did. I think you did.
Okay.
but we can update
I
it.
can give an abridged version.
Yeah.
So my mother watched the original series, and rumor is that like she wouldn't allow if my dad called while they were courting or whatever he would have done in the 60s, that she was like, nope, Star Trek's on, see you later. But I didn't know any of this until like after she passed. So my wife bought me all the seasons as a way to kind of like reconnect to my mom. So with my son, when he would wait, I'm a morning person, my wife is not. So she usually takes the late night shift with him, and I take the morning so that she can sleep in. And so we've been watching an episode a day, basically. So we got through the original series, we got through the animated series, and when I was a kid, my best friend, who I'm still friends with, his mother was obsessed with The Next Generation. So I saw the movies, but never the show. It was like on in the background when we would be like hanging out and playing or whatever. And she was like the first person I ever knew that had like a dual VCR, so she could like remove the commercials, so she had like
Nice.
every episode on VHS, no commercials. So I saw the movies, and I remember my mother furious. It's just like Mission Impossible, the first one. She hated it. So much so that she died before the second one because she was like, I'm not seeing that.
Wow.
Well, the second one.
She was a Jim Phelps fan, and she
Too
was
soon,
like, he
Sean.
would not.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with Generations. Spoiler, Joe.
Yeah, Kirk would
Kirk
not.
went out like a bitch. That wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, he absolutely did.
He did.
He went out like a total.
I like the earmuffs by pressing them closer to your ears.
I know.
So I recently, with the little guy, watched the original series, the animated series, and now we are.
And he was into it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's totally into it. He
Is he enjoying TNG?
He is.
Okay.
He gets super excited every time the ship goes in the.
What about
he like sits up and looks at me.
What about
and
the male
sometimes he makes
camel
the-
toe
the noises.
from Paradise?
No, he
Hey,
like his
or-
father is
no.
just into
Hey,
Tasha Yar.
Loss? Stop. What was it?
I don't remember. What's that?
I said just like his father, he's into Tasha Yar.
Who isn't?
Well,
Well, It's true. Data really was.
Season 2 is it?
It's a good thing you're into that because she has. I don't want to add a spoiler or anything, but she has a lot of character growth over the next 7 seasons. Tasha Yar. So
Absolutely, she's one of the
foundational members of this
pivotal
group.
characters.
Yeah, and she she might be the most important person to the
You guys are
Federation.
jerks.
Okay.
Because I was like, I don't recognize. I'm like, they asked me. They were like, all right, you got into Next Generation. Who's your favorite character? And I was like, oh, it's Tasha Yar. And they were like, and I was like, but I don't remember her from the movies.
There's a reason. There's a reason.
She should have been, or that actor should have been in Nemesis.
Why? Oh yeah, because Robin.
It would have been easy to relate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, later, you.
Later, yeah, you'll know.
Okay.
I do want to hear one more story though.
Sure.
Your son likes the themes, right?
He does.
And you recently watched
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the themes.
So recently, in an effort to, he was kind of having a meltdown. So in an effort to get him to calm down, I pulled up a YouTube video of all the Star Trek themes because I was like, oh, this is going to be great. He mellowed out immediately. He was so excited to see the original series theme again.
Yeah, in the Next Generation DS9.
And the animated series, and then Next Gen, and then Deep Space Nine. And then all of a sudden, there was a fucking record scratch for me and him. Like, he sat up. He's like cuddled up in my arms, and he sits up, and he's like, what in the hell? And we heard this garbage. Who thought this was a good idea?
Rick
Drugs.
Berman.
Rick Berman. This is Star Trek for the 21st century, baby.
And I was really, like, I'm like looking forward to watching everything in order, right? And I was like, I don't care. You could tell me that the greatest episodes ever happened in Enterprise, and I refuse to watch it. How do you go from, like, the original series, you know, Lucille Ball production, jazz fusion, good theme, to that?
Well, and
Did
here's
that come out at the same time as, like, Firefly? Were they
Yes.
competing for the worst theme
Same
ever?
era, yeah.
same era. But here's my thing about
Terrible
it: is
theme.
all the other ones had original
should've got canceled just
compositions.
for that.
What made them think it'd be a good idea to use like an existing song, right?
What year was it?
Enterprise 04?
I think around then.
Let me find out.
That
Because
seems like an awful
Voyager
time to
started
do that, too.
01.
Yeah.
01.
Oh, okay.
Is it pre 9/11
Yeah,
or
'cause they
post
did-
9/11?
It was pre 9/11 because
That
then
makes
they
Oh,
do,
because they changed the tenor of the show.
and
Yeah.
they do a 9/11 episode.
No wonder.
9/11.
Are you saying 9/11 is
Yeah,
Enterprise's fault?
And 9/11 was done
I'm
by
pretty
Star
sure
Trek.
that got
Star Trek.
beamed over somewhere. I probably shouldn't.
Are we really making 9/11 jokes on the?
We're not doing 9/11.
But are we? I'm saying it's not necessarily just a coincidence.
That tracks.
I don't really remember.
I
that
don't believe
much
the
TV
conspiracy
from
theories,
time
but that
period,
one-
so-
Do you think
From
they were?
two-
Do you
early
think they were
2000s?
watching Enterprise on the plane?
I just changed
just
it.
got distracted.
Oh hell no!
Because when did The Office come out? Because I feel like that's when you.
Office
got,
was
4?
2004.
Yes.
I feel like that's when you kind of got cleaner themes.
Because the only reason I think the only reason I remember that like era is it was a huge era for new shows that had come out. It was, I think The Office had done their U.S.
Scrubs.
Huge.
Scrubs was huge, man,
was
for a
garbage.
minute.
Lost, Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's when
Grey's-
Survivor started, wasn't
Grey's
it?
Anatomy. Survivor was a little before that.
Oh,
too.
yeah, it was late
You're gonna
90s.
get a Desperate Housewife in an episode coming up.
I know.
Spoiler.
Of what?
Which one?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Terry Hatcher?
Yeah.
No.
She's in an episode of Next Generation.
Oh, I'm not joking. I thought you were talking about Reba because the
Well, I
guy
was gonna say we should-
because
we
the
should
Terry
do
Hatcher's
the-
boyfriend, the guy that was, I think his name was Mike.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the show, I forget the actor's name.
Oh.
But he was just in an episode of Reba.
Now, what we
that I
should do
watched.
is, could a listener possibly take the footage of the Enterprise opening and put it to the theme song of Reba
I'm a survivor.
to see if that does anything
the
for me and Jen?
the Reba intro is better than Enterprise.
Here's the worst part about that. The song is garbage, but the actual theme, like if you watch the video, it's solid. The video's good, like showing the advancing of
Yeah, but do you know what you have to
spaceflight
listen to
and
when you watch that?
the song.
Yeah.
You get punished the entire time. They picked the pace up during the later seasons to try to improve it.
They did. And then when
The
they
tempo?
It would've been
I
better
did
if Bon
notice
Jovi
that
did it.
There was a Deep Space Nine issue with like a trumpet.
Yeah.
It seemed like a big, like,
the French horn.
okay. I should have known that. I played
I know.
the French horn for 1 year in middle school.
That sounds like a Bon Jovi Kids Bop song.
Yeah, this is the updated version. Gotta get the acoustic in there.
change my mind, 'cause I got faith of the heart. Okay.
I said this before we started. Now that you bring the acoustic guitar in, it definitely sounds like Star Trek does Christian rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Christian rockers love their acoustic guitar.
Hated it.
Here's the cool thing. They do mirror episodes in Enterprise, and they changed the theme music for that as well.
And the visuals.
Yeah, here's their Mirror Universe theme song, which honestly is better than...
Oh, yeah. It's better than Faith of the Heart. That's for sure.
Wait a second. So this was the theme on one episode of Enterprise?
Like 2.
2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys tell me which ones. Those are
In
the
Mirror
only 2
Darkly?
episodes I'm going to watch.
Yeah. In a Mirror Darkly. Yeah. Okay, we got to move on to the Star Trek, though. I mean, we're talking about Star Trek, but we got to move on.
We were
to
just
Next
talking about
Generation.
Star Trek.
Let's move on to Next Generation, okay? And we're going to start out with Haven today. And Haven is a great episode. Brings in, well, I shouldn't say great. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I'm just saying I don't want to lead you. I don't want to lead
It was an
the audience.
episode.
It was an episode.
Which we'll rate in a minute.
Lexana Troy is on the ship. Oh no, Deanna's arranged marriage time. The guy shows up on the ship. He's disappointed in her. Okay. And Deanna's all upset because she has to get married. But then she decides to come around to it. And her mom's being a B word the whole time because, that's what betazoids do. She's being a betazoid. She's being a B word the whole time.
Are we allowed to interject during this?
No.
I do all the
It's
time.
a 30-second synopsis.
He's done really good in the synopsis.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
I have. And there's another ship traveling. It's people with a genetic disorder. Oh, the boyfriend is a doctor who likes genetic disorders, and he's been dreaming about this lady. It's the lady on the ship. He flies over to that ship. Deanna Troy avoids the marriage. Her mom leaves. The end of story.
Not bad.
It was a recap, not a synopsis.
What?
Isn't that?
Is there a difference?
Yeah.
Tell me.
There is.
What's the difference?
A synopsis would just be like, giving you like a brief, like,
No,
hey.
I give a recap. A very
right,
quick
fair
recap.
enough.
Oh my gosh, I gotta get that. There we go. Got it. Hold on.
No.
This
Okay.
is Nick's ASMR.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I got stuff all over my mic. Okay, there we go.
Great radio.
I know.
All right. Yeah, it's just a very quick summation of what happens in the
right,
episode.
that's fair.
It's not meant to be all encompassing. It's not meant to be very detailed.
What do we got left in here, fellas?
So, okay. So let's start with this. Majel Barrett
raspberry.
makes her debut.
Oh, cherry.
All right.
Majel Barrett makes her debut in The Next Generation as Lexana Troy. And I want to say, as someone who's watched all of DS9, I forgot how quickly she nails the character of Lexana Troy. She's perfect from the very first scene as Troy. As
One of the
Lexana.
few characters that actually kind of is the same throughout the whole thing.
Never changes.
Because I've seen this character before, haven't I?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Well,
She was trying to get with Odo.
remember
That's right.
Odo in where he goes
Yeah.
into the goop in her arms kind of a thing? Yeah.
Who's the box?
Armin Shimmerman.
Okay.
Quark.
I don't know who that is.
Who's the what?
Wait, who's he
The
playing?
box that announces Deanna
Yeah, so the
Troy's
box that was
marriage
there-
when he gets
Oh, that was
transported?
Quark.
Yeah.
That's his first Star Trek appearance. Come on, man. I'm not even on this podcast.
Oh, it wasn't his first Star Trek appearance.
It actually was.
That
This
was
was filmed before that other episode.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Guest
When
for
we
the
talked
win.
to Armin Shimmerman, he said that.
That was a weird scene, though. That was a weird scene. This box shows up and is talking.
It
that
was.
feels like original series Star Trek. Though.
It does. That
It's
feels.
like,
It
it's
very
like
much
Russian
did.
roulette for me with the kid, though, because every episode I'm like, is there going to be a creepy-ass monster in this?
Yeah, there
And I
is.
just sit there and I'm like, is he going to freak out by this headless box or this head in a box?
Just wait till you get to Voyager with a clown episode, man.
oh Lord.
The freaking clown in Voyager was
Yes.
creepy.
it was it felt like Wizard of Oz type of
It did a little bit.
scene.
Yeah, it felt very original series.
Yes.
I think that's part of the reason why up to this point, Next Generation has not really stuck the landing with me. Because it feels very much like just a continuation of the original
A
series.
variation, yeah.
And
It's almost like it's the next generation of the original series.
gosh, I hate
It's almost like you shouldn't have jumped ahead and watched Deep Space Nine. You're like no foreplay. You're like straight just, I'm going for the best thing here.
We did it with Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
That's
I just don't understand why you come on here as a guest and you feel like you can talk down to me. I'm right here. I have feelings. And I was going to share some tramadol with you. Not anymore.
That's a Patreon episode.
That would be a trip.
Hey, did you get a
the
prescription? for it?
Cardassians do drugs.
How many do you have? A lot.
I'm gonna stop taking them today.
Patreon.
Patreon for real.
One more dose before tomorrow, buddy.
One more
Please.
at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Take
Yep.
the dose.
I think your best bet is just go straight to Leslie.
Here's the best part.
Have Leslie slip
my
it in
sermon
some-
tomorrow is on how to fight, like how to fight as a Christian.
How
or
to
whatever.
fight through a,
Oh my God.
And it's,
raging drug
and it's
high.
titled Fight Club. So
This
like
guy's shadow boxing on drugs up at the pulpit.
throwing bars of soap at people from up there from Fight Club.
You know, during your service tomorrow, I was entertaining the thought of going, but then I realized Joe and I have an appointment.
Yeah, with the Lord. Lord of football.
Yeah, they're going to another church.
Can we do that? I just take selfies.
It turns out you two are like devout Christians going to another church. And like you invite me to come as you're joining like the Catholic Church or something like that.
Too far. The Catholics.
Joe's Catholic.
We're too old.
But we're playing tackle football tomorrow.
Oh, are you Televalley?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're gonna break yourself.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Rip.
I haven't realized how old I am apparently, and the more I think about it, I'm like, oh god.
Dude,
I've been in the gym training.
I've watched
not
you
kill
try to
myself.
walk barefoot. You are old.
Well, he plays
Come on,
in
look-
cleats.
Come on the football field.
Does he? Do you really play in cleats?
Oh yeah.
My gosh, you're like the guy who's on a softball league who shows
Everybody
up
plays in cleats.
and baseball pants.
You don't-
Everybody plays in
You don't
cleats.
come
Back
to
in the
Tele
day.
Valley in street shoes, brother. Get cleats or get bent.
Well, when the talent went up, we had to adapt.
Oh, yeah. I was
Yeah.
not the talent.
All right,
I was the cameraman.
back to Enterprise.
Saw that video somewhere.
Back to the
Great
Enterprise.
video.
I have a GoPro. You should come.
Okay, so
I got to go to church.
Deanna Troy.
Oh, yeah, remember now. You're part of the cult.
My pastor sucks.
He's the worst.
I heard he's a drug addict.
Yeah. I heard he's going to be doing the service on being high.
I can't wait to promote
High on
this
faith.
on my Facebook. I'm gonna put it in the church bulletin. Your new member Sean was on a podcast with the pastor. Please listen.
This is depressing. So, anyways,
Star Trek.
Deanna Troy, the Betazoids have arranged marriages, and we have not heard much about her backstory to this point, right?
Correct.
We did not know she was half Betazoid, or did we?
I don't think we did until this episode.
And her father was a human,
Correct.
and it sounds like her mother didn't really love her father that much.
Oh.
Because she makes some nasty comments about the dad.
Well, I think Lixana
He's a
is showboating.
Okay.
I think she doesn't want to really, because even in DS9, she didn't really show her real self. It's exactly what she's doing here.
She's just pretending to be a character.
She's playing an extreme version of herself.
Oh, man.
I don't know. She seemed pretty like
I don't know.
who she was.
She was pretty like. She made a point of saying like Betazoids are known for their honesty. She was being honest, man. She had Picard around her finger.
I did not realize who she was until my wife Ashley walked by and she goes,
Nurse
"Is that
Chapel.
Nurse Chapel?"
Yeah.
I was like, "How did you know that?"
Was,
From
was
her?
that the proudest you've ever been of your wife?
It was pretty exciting.
You're like, go to the bedroom right now.
I immediately Googled and I was like, "It is."
Henry, go to bed.
And I didn't realize she was married to Gene Roddenberry. And
Yep.
I had no idea that she was.
Weren't they
the
divorced by
voice.
this point?
Well, he was still alive. No, they were still married, I think.
Did they get okay? Okay.
Were they married until he died?
I think so.
Or did they actually get divorced?
That one I'm not sure. But I think he kept on casting her in shows, so I guess they had to.
almost like
yeah.
Nick has the computer in front of him. And we can
I'm
figure this out.
looking it up right now, sir.
Of all the times we actually want him to use the computer,
No, they were married till the end, till he died in '91,
she killed him.
She's the first lady of Star Trek.
That's right.
and she's also the ship's computer
Yep.
in Star Trek as well. She's pretty bluntly honest, but she has Picard wrapped around her finger, and he just takes it. Does he take it because this is a member of his crew's mom, or does he take it because,
She's a diplomat.
yeah,
Or because the writers were like, we got to soften this guy. Because it's jarring how, like, I loved that he went with
the comedic relief role, like where he's like
Yeah.
struggling to carry it through the hallway and like backing.
I think
out
it's
of the room.
all of the above. I think that she's a diplomat. It's one of his lead staffers' moms.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, we got to do a little bit. We got to roll things back a little bit.
Okay. I don't know. I love Picard in that, like just the
And
kind
then
of
Holmes was like,
yeah.
"Psh."
the whole time. Yeah.
Lurch.
Yep.
His character was great, man.
He would look like he was in grayscale, and everybody else was in.
Yeah.
I was
Technicolor.
cracking up that whole
Where's the
episode.
Serbia at?
Especially that dinner scene where he's ringing the gong as they're like fighting, and he just keeps ringing the gong.
Data.
I really wanted to bring a gong today to do that every time you guys just.
Bow. Yeah, Data's walking around having the best.
Please
engage in bickering.
Yeah.
It's intriguing to me. Here's my thing with Data, though. They're not doing a consistent job showing him without emotion because they show him smirking and smiling quite a bit.
Well, I don't think he was smiling necessarily. He was more looking around, going,
I don't
mimicking.
know. He smirks and smiles quite a bit. I've noticed that so
That's
far.
fair.
I'm okay. I don't really care. I mean, I know they're doing the best they can, but
I think maybe it's processing information and just maybe the programming makes him smile.
I love the way you forgive a lot of stuff in Star Trek, but when we were watching BSG, you would not cut anything a break. Because like in Star Trek all the time, you're like, well, it goes without saying. They don't need to explain it. It's just known. It's just known. And then when
I don't think I've ever said that.
Battlestar,
He's a homer.
all the time you would do that, especially with DS9. You don't need to write. You don't need to explain that. We know this already.
Did you hear my review of Second Sight?
It was a great episode.
It was terrible.
Yeah, but you go right to second. Say you go right to the worst episode of all time. Say, well, I rated this
Move
piece
along
of
home.
shit a piece of shit.
Yeah, but
Something tells me I'm going to love Second Sight.
I loved that episode. I gave it a good rating, if I recall. Second Sight.
I like how you go to the two worst episodes and you're like, see, I said they were pieces of shit. I'm very.
I defended
I'm
very
Battlestar.
very
consistent.
fair. I'm very fair.
Fact check that, somebody.
Was Second Sight first season? What season was it?
mean,
That
you-
was like third, I think.
You blow the
Second
visitor
Sight.
every week.
I blow the visitor every day.
Rob gave Second
If you're at my door and you're a visitor, I blow you because you're a visitor.
It's close enough. He's a visitor, and I love the visitor.
Sean, I challenge you to watch that episode.
Can
and
you
come
both
away.
shut up? Can you both shut up?
No, you started
honestly?
this shit.
The Visitor is the most overrated Star Trek
Oh, you
episode of all
dirty
time.
whore.
Rob gave Second Sight a 2 out of 10. Joe gave it a 4. I gave it a 5.
I thought it was twice as good as you did.
I'll let you guys know when I get there.
Yeah,
in
please do.
3
It's going to
years.
be a while. I don't think you're going to like DS9.
I rated it a 4.
I watched you told me, since I was
pilot?
an OG fan,
Yeah.
you had me watch the Tribble episode.
Oh, yeah. Trials and Tribulations.
I enjoyed that.
That's a great episode.
It's a great
and
episode.
then I was trying to keep pace with the show, but I jumped ahead on Next Gen. And so I was like, hey, guys, can I watch Deep Space Nine instead? And you were like, yeah, but there's a minor spoiler in the first episode.
Again.
And I turned it on and I was like, minor?
Again. That's common knowledge by now. You knew that because you watched the Next Generation movies. First Contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
I
try
saw it-
again.
I saw it in the theater.
The line must be drawn.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, nerds.
So I don't feel like he will like DS9 with how much you love the original series and how much you're loving Next Generation now. I don't feel like he's going to like it.
I think you'll love it.
But what if it just progressively, like, my enjoyment of it progressively gets better?
It will.
Maybe.
Because,
We'll
like,
see.
I've been enjoying every episode that I've been up until this morning.
I get you. I understand. Anyway,
Like, we can't say anything because Joe doesn't know, but I watched the first 15 minutes of The Skin of Evil because the boy would not let me leave, which is why I was late, which is why I brought the gifts. And I got 15 minutes into it, and my heart broke.
yeah.
And he clapped. My son clapped.
Is that why your heart broke? Because he clapped about
That's what I say. You got to come back for that episode, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do. You got to come back for Heart of Evil. Yeah. Okay.
Skin of Evil.
Skin of Evil.
Skin of Evil.
Get it right.
Whatever. Back to this episode.
Wrong
Heart
or-
of Glory
organ.
was a few episodes ago.
Back to this episode.
We'll have you back for Kidney,
So,
Kidney of Evil.
this guy beams on the ship, and he sees Deanna Troi, and she senses he's immediately disappointed in her. Wouldn't that suck to be be able to read emotions, and someone sees you for the first time, and they're like, "Ah."
I could get that visual out of everybody who sees me.
Yeah.
I can't even read mine.
I know. People see me, they go, oh.
Oh.
But it's not. It's
She
not.
seemed pretty excited until she saw.
Yeah. It's not.
She was like, everyone's coming over, and then you guys came over. She's like,
"Oh,
Oh, the guy from the funeral?
I'm gonna leave now.
oh gosh, this sucks. I gotta go to the bakery."
took the donuts back.
Yeah. So he beams on, and he's not the woman of his dreams. So here's one of my problems with this episode. They did not do a good job truly explaining. I mean, they try to. Lexan is like, the people don't understand that we're all interconnected, and if you have the same thoughts, then you're gonna read each other's.
Yeah,
thoughts.
they didn't explain it at all.
That was
really.
kind of weird. The whole like she's been dreaming about him, he's been dreaming about her.
Yeah, they didn't explain
That's
it at
kind of
all.
a weird connection. I wish they would have given a more like science fiction reason for it, but they didn't. You don't care.
I'm like, oh, it's a fun TV show.
But it's Star Trek. It's supposed to give us the science a little
It
bit.
all has to make sense.
But the original series doesn't really do science.
And this is like the original series.
Yeah.
I am confused by your guys' insistence that the original series is all about doing it.
Yeah.
Really?
Not all.
I mean, I know Kirk
It's an
gets
exaggeration.
down quite a bit, but I didn't realize like everyone
Not
writing
everyone.
the show was a horn dog.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, they were.
I
It's
don't
the
really.
60s,
I didn't
man.
like dive in.
It's the 60s. What do you think they were doing?
Listening
Drugs.
to Beatles records.
Rough time in history.
Gosh, you're
They
an
were doing
idiot.
drugs, Ramadol or whatever the fuck you were on.
You have to be in drugs to like the Beatles.
Ram it all. Ram it all.
I want to try that drug.
What are things? Okay,
That's the new generic of Viagra. Ram it all.
What are things-
Try it all.
Hold on, I'm gonna get us back. We got to stay on topic. What are things from
we-
this episode that stand out to you, Sean?
Well, I mean, I like the whole episode.
I know. What
I
is
mean,
it?
right from the jump when the little box gets, transported on
Gosh,
there,
the
and
creepy
jewels get
box,
bumped up.
and it starts
It's
talking.
awesome. The gag with the even the other crew members walking past Picard as he's struggling
watching
with
him,
the
yeah.
suitcase, hilarious.
Because they're all like, "Oh my gosh, is that the captain looking like that?" Yeah,
I thought they did a really good job. Because any other show, I think, when it came to the guy not being into Troy, Wyatt not being into Troy,
yeah.
would have somehow made it shitty. But they didn't. I felt for him. I was like, he didn't even seem to. He seemed he was surprised that she wasn't the woman, but it wasn't like he was like, ew, gross.
No, he still tried to make it work.
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
he saw her on the view screen.
And I also, because this was another, the Mrs., as she was hanging out in the kitchen, because she doesn't want to actually watch an episode, it might get on her, but
She might get infected.
she'll stand in the background and kind of pick up some pieces. But the whole holodeck, or where was that? That was,
Second episode.
No. When they're
Oh,
in
they went to the desert.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did I watch
Riker.
the same? Oh,
Riker and
yeah.
Troy.
So
yeah.
Riker a little pissy.
any other show would have made
no.
there be some type of tension between Riker and Wyatt.
And there was
but I actually
none.
thought Wyatt was really cool about.
Oh, this
Yeah.
was the guy you were in love with? Oh, he's a cool guy. I
Yeah.
can see why you loved her, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the humanity
the
is
actor.
advanced. That's part
Even
of the
though he was in
But do you
the
do you
third
think?
worst season of Heroes.
But do you think that?
He was the villain in the fourth.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He was the circus guy.
Oh,
Not that I watched that show all the way to the end.
you made it past season 2. I was just say, wow.
So
I dipped
you mentioned
into
how
that.
easy it was. There was no real conflict. I attributed that to the fact that she wasn't the woman. If Troy was the woman,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
if Troy was the woman, then I
Then
don't
he
think.
would've
I
been
think there would be
more
more
jealous.
conflict.
Been
I
more-
think he was like, "That ain't the broad." I wanted a
But they were still. He was still going to follow through on the wedding.
Yeah, but the feeling, he was disappointed. The feelings weren't
Yeah,
there.
he
It wasn't
didn't
as
have that same
emotionally
infatuation.
invested.
yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
That's a great play, Troy.
But I like. I mean,
They could have easily forced it though.
Yeah, they could have.
Chose
Absolutely.
not to because of that. Probably
They could have, and they didn't. And that I think that made that whole story arc a bit more organic.
I think to me though, to this point with Riker and Troy, the chemistry isn't there yet. I don't like those characters don't fit well together. I know by the end,
None of them do yet.
yeah, I know, but it's hard to believe that they were in a relationship
Yeah,
because they don't seem to fit very well.
Imzadi.
they haven't done a good job of selling that to us yet.
Right.
Correct.
Right. I don't think they have. But you're like, it's a show. Just enjoy the ride.
No, I think I'm coming from
It's a
the
fun
point
TV
where
show.
it is a fun TV show.
This show is not fun yet.
Look, we don't get paid to come on here and say it's a fun TV show.
We don't
Okay,
get paid.
We have a responsibility.
Wait,
we
to
don't
our
get paid.
fans.
We don't
Paid?
get paid at all.
Paid?
How do you think he got that fucking Tesla?
That's why we're not.
I got
getting
that
paid.
Hulu Live money, baby.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, so the thing I struggled with in the beginning is the original series, that crew's been together. This one, you watch them come together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the growing pains are just everybody kind of, and I feel like with this episode, because it had a couple things going for it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's no real conflict other than this crazy-ass broad on that planet that's like, do not let the lepers come here. Blow them out of the sky.
Kill them all.
Like, that is pretty harsh, right? And there's zero Wesley.
That's great.
Perfect episode.
Yeah,
10
that's
out
true.
of 10.
God.
I actually don't hate Wesley as much as you guys do. And
can't
this
see
is
that-
because I am coming from a comic book, like grew up on X-Men the animated series where Jubilee was forced on us.
Yes.
And I'm used to like the kid lens. They're just trying to get a younger audience.
Yeah, by showing the kid being perfect and everyone
Well,
else.
Gene
being
Roddenberry was
idiots.
actually writing him like he was him, and he was the boy genius.
Of course he was.
Of course he was.
Gene
But I
Roddenberry.
liked Jubilee.
I did too.
I like
I'm just
Jubilee a
saying,
lot.
There's the whole
I like
like
her-
that's
yeah.
your viewpoint. Like
Yeah.
they're trying to. I mean,
I don't recall-
Here's the thing I don't like about Wesley, though.
But the difference there
I
was
didn't hate
Jubilee
Wesley
was
as a
trying
kid.
to
He's
like,
the only one
find
that
other people
solves
like
things on the
herself.
ship.
Yeah.
Whereas
Doesn't he
Wesley's
in the
like,
next episode too?
I can
yeah,
do
he
this
does.
and you
Yep.
can't.
yeah.
He's like interjecting himself where Jubilee was like,
Part of this.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
give
like,
this
I'm
a lot
completely
more
different than
grace
everybody
you guys
around.
do. I think
Well-
I just because I look at it and I'm like, okay, the rest of the ship is kind of like maybe enamored with him, and I think we'll get into this more in the Big Goodbye or Long Goodbye.
They
or-
want to hammer him.
But I
No,
just-
like kill him.
I feel like they're like, oh, let the
Not
kid figure it
hammer.
out.
When they're kept. So this next episode. Never mind.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
But
I'm
like
jumping ahead.
this is my
Shouldn't have
problem
even
with it.
brought
It's
him
like
up.
you have all these people who've spent years in the academy, are really well trained, and here's Wesley going, "Move, let me do it."
I can do it.
Like he's like the IT guy from the SNL skits.
Oh,
back in the
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Move. Gosh, I don't like it. Okay, other things about this episode. We got the weird, creepy ship of people with the dad who feels like he's into his own daughter a little bit. Did you sense that, or was that just me? Like,
Somebody is projecting.
I don't know. Like,
I'll keep it city away from you from now on.
that. Ew, weirdo, freak, weird.
What's the timestamp on the episode before we got to a pedophile joke? Because usually it's right out of the gate.
we made it over an hour.
I know, but it's pretty
Pretty
exciting.
good.
We gotta say, this is where you say, "Why am I on this podcast?"
The way she was hanging on her dad and the way he was hanging on her was a little creepy to me.
They're gonna die.
Yeah, but she can put on some clothes if she's dying.
If
She
you
was
and
like
Eli
naked.
were on a ship and you got the plague.
A cruise ship where you're.
Yeah, but here she is seeing this
Hypothetically.
guy and she's like super horny for him. She's like, "Ooh, daddy, get me that boy," right? Like,
Well, if she's saying it like that,
I did not hear that part of the
Was
episode.
it an outtake or what was that?
that's what I heard. That's
All right. Cut.
Ooh, daddy.
Less pedophilia in the next take. Come on,
yeah,
roll it back.
yeah, just a little less. Like, I don't know. It just
thank God we totally edit.
it was a weird vibe. It was a weird vibe. I don't know. And there was something about her too. I don't know. There was something about her that was just off-putting. Maybe it's the hair, that curly hair. It was creeping me out.
That late '80s
Somebody's
hair.
jealous.
I don't know. Her name was Denitza Kingsley. Is her name Denitza Kingsley? And
Needs a haircut.
Yeah,
she didn't have a lot of lines. She's just like, "I dreamt about you, Daddy."
Jesus Christ.
You didn't hear that?
No.
It happened.
And meanwhile, the daddy's like,
What?
"Who are you talking to?"
I mean, the dad was probably like thrilled that his daughter wasn't crazy.
That's a good point because she's got drawings of this
Yeah.
guy all over the place.
And he's going to save us. And then all of a sudden, there he is. Of course, he's jacked up.
So okay, so this guy has been studying medicine his whole life. So the whole idea is we're meant to believe that this was fate. This was destiny, that they're supposed to be intertwined together. He was supposed to study medicine so he can go cure this plague of these people. Is that, or is it really that they can just find happiness as they die together? Like, I don't know what the
I think it's implied that he's gonna cure him
save them.
or gonna try
It
and
doesn't
fail.
matter.
Schrodinger's cat, man.
Yeah,
How do you
that's-
want this episode to end?
I want them all to die.
Of course you do.
Well, I mean,
That's that drugs talking.
It's the Enterprise and their ship just playing chicken. And
my question is, why is there only 8 of them left? Has there been so much interbreeding that they're just genetically
They just said
ruined?
everybody died from the disease.
Nah,
They just
the
literally
disease
said
of
it.
inbreeding?
Always goes to sex, man.
I mean, she was calling him daddy. I'm just saying.
I'm not wearing the headphones anymore if he keeps on saying daddy.
It's not daddy. It's
What episode
daddy.
is this? We've done this for 160 episodes.
Daddy.
158.
Daddy.
Plus our 0.5s and
I haven't seen
Mount
Deep Space
Rushmores
Nine, so I stopped listening.
Right there. Pause.
All those half listens you get, that's me. I'm going to go back. You're going to see a bump in about 3 years in listenership.
Wow.
Like, we got 1 view. Yeah.
That is a bump. One view.
That is.
Anything else from this? We haven't really talked about this episode, but we
Sort of,
have. I
like,
don't know.
I mean, we glossed right over the fantastic dinner scene. I mean,
The
we
dinner
touched on it
scene-
a little bit, but it was great.
Well, in the
Dude, when Deanna Troy runs out of the room and
Stop
knocks
it, all
over
of
the
you.
gong,
Yeah.
hilarious.
It was really, and then Data gets super.
The lurch wasted just
I'm just chilling, having the best time of his life.
You know what?
Data watching him as he's
Yes.
chugging the drinks was hilarious too.
You know, it reminds me of when Deanna runs out and knocks over the gong. It reminds me when Nick does his chewing the mic thing, and I want to throw his mic, but he's usually a little bit too far away.
Picard telling Data to quit hovering.
That was a good scene.
The whole revelation that the wedding is going to be in the nude.
Oh my!
How did we gloss over that?
I love the compromise where the dad's been practicing in the mirror naked. The son's like, I walked in on him practicing in the mirror naked. Okay, again, creep. Why are you walking in on your naked father?
Well, if he was just out there in the
I think it was-
living
I
room.
don't think he knew he
and then
was
he's
naked
like,
and just walked
"Ooh,
in.
Daddy, are you ready for the wedding?" I'm telling you, these are all horn dogs in this show.
I don't think he knew
I-
that his
I don't
dad
think
was
it's-
naked.
I think it's the lens you're watching it through, man.
It might be the Tramadol. I don't know.
The Ramadol?
Didn't you watch it before the drugs?
I did actually.
Yeah.
I did.
I think he needs the drugs because he watched it.
right.
The dinner scene alone, I think, was probably one of my favorite scenes so far
I agree.
from this Trek watch.
Yep.
I think so.
Like, it was just comedic gold. The whole thing. Like when they do comedy, they do it extremely well on Next Generation. Like they nail it.
Yeah.
I don't.
They haven't. They definitely haven't this episode, and they've done it a couple times.
Yeah,
previously.
Yeah. Well, they do it a couple times in the next episode too with the comedy part.
Mm-hmm.
Like Picard going nuts in the ready room about everything he saw. So we'll get into that later. Anything else about this episode you want to touch upon? You want to touch upon Daddy?
I just want to move on so we don't have to hear that.
I don't want to hear you say "touch upon" anymore.
And then just say daddy afterwards.
Okay, we can move on.
I like that they weren't able to stop him from going to the ship, that he's now with them, that Troy isn't going to wind up with him, that Picard showed that he was happy that she was still going to be a part of the crew and not married off.
I have a problem with him getting over to the other ship because security measures on that ship is not supposed to operate like that. Like some Joe Schmo shouldn't go up to the transporter pad, be able to program it, beam over without some kind of access code.
Yeah, but they're also an enlightened federation where they don't anticipate people.
In Star Trek, the technical manual,
Okay,
they cover that, but
wait,
that's actually
wait,
not
wait,
supposed to
wait.
happen.
Hang on. Technically, I think the transporter guy put everything in because they put the medicine down in the transporter.
Yes.
So then the kid, all he had to do was hit a button and run on there.
Yeah, maybe you got me there.
And he said, "Mommy, I'm coming to you."
Oh my God. I didn't think you'd be the worst one.
Who'd you think was going to be the worst one?
You, because if I played a drinking game where you said finger bangers, I was, oh my God.
It's the greatest toy ever, and it's not.
I'm really upset with myself for being the first one to say it.
Yeah.
It's just a rebranding effort.
So people said that it's not actually racist to call it a Chinese finger trap, but
Really?
like, I feel like it
Who
kinda,
said that? White people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, white people would say it is.
Yeah.
and
No,
No,
then
he said it's not racist. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah, wouldn't it be white people saying that there was a problem with it?
Yes.
when
and
there's
then
not actually a
and
problem
other
with it?
people are like, no.
Meanwhile,
it's
someone else
totally
is like,
cool.
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Now give me my Polynesian toe toucher. I don't know. It's just making up another toy. Can we move on?
So
to
the
next
rebranding wasn't a great idea?
Daddy, can we move on to the next episode?
nothing about anything we've ever done is a great idea.
We have comments saying that that was a great idea.
Yeah.
Our listeners are drug addicts.
The big goodbye.
They take after
is
Nick.
that listener in high school?
The big goodbye. The Enterprise is heading to a new planet where they're negotiating with the Dorado, who have a very specific way you need to talk with them. But while they're on the way, the doctor orders the captain to take some time to rest, and he decides to go in a hologram. And he hasn't
Deck.
really, he hasn't. Yeah, sorry. holodeck. He hasn't really spent a lot of time in there, and he gets super into it, and he gets to play this character where he's
like a kid at Christmas.
yeah, he's like a PI, a private investigator, and he gets super into it. He tells the crew it's amazing, so he invites the doctor, and she's like, "Yeah, Daddy," and then he ends up inviting other people, and she's like, "Oh no, Daddy." So, anyways, they go into the holodeck program, but something happens. The program breaks. They get stuck in there, and they have to figure out how to get out of there. And of course, Wesley comes in and saves the day, breaks them out of there.
Recap.
Dude, I'm just giving you a rough idea of the plot. That's all I'm doing. I'm not. Wesley finds the glitch, gets him out. Picard walks onto the bridge, goes, "Baka, bak, baka, dur," and the episode ends.
Star Trek Insurrection anymore?
You have dishonored us
Yeah.
with that recap.
What do you want from me, Sean? What do you want from my recaps?
They're supposed to meet with another alien race, and there's a holodeck mishap.
Yeah.
And then we discuss we then recap the episode.
No, I can tell. I'm telling.
3 seconds.
And you're usually good at that.
I'm just saying. It's the drugs. Let's blame it on the drugs.
No, this is.
No, you've heard his description. So that's an hour and a half.
There's been times where it's like a 2.5 minute long.
I will have to defend Nick here. That is what we've been doing for the entirety of the,
I know.
of the
I
podcast.
I think we originally did that on purpose, too.
Yeah, we did.
There are non-Star Trek people that
Because
actually...
there was non-star, and our
listen.
goal was to just sum it up so they can get a better.
However-
We're inclusive.
All right.
However,
Dang.
he used to be really
I was
dog
under the
shit
guise
at
that
it.
I was being brought in as a replacement, so I was just trying to tighten up the ship.
I don't know who should be concerned.
I think all of us should be a little concerned at this
Next
point.
week it's just going to be me.
Recording here too,
Yeah.
where you're sitting on the couch, sad.
He just shows up.
Sure.
How
Time
do you
to
work this-
record.
It's a good show.
Maybe then I'll get a stand.
He just glares at you the whole episode. Okay, so this plot of this episode is it's basically a bubble episode, right? You know, we're in the holodeck for this episode. So we're led to believe that Picard has been the captain of the Enterprise for how long now?
6 months? 7 months?
And he's never once been in the holodeck.
Does this character make you think he's gone to a holodeck?
No.
No,
not at
but
all.
I would think because they talked about how they use it for trainings and all those things.
He's the captain.
It sounded. I took it more as a he finally got his favorite thing programmed into there, so he was jazzed for it.
So it wasn't that; it was the first time he'd ever been in a
Yeah,
holodeck.
no.
It was more like, oh,
I
it's
took it
real.
as like a vacation type holiday.
It's kind of
thing.
be like if Rob was suddenly put into a holodeck of Shea Stadium with the Beatles, and he'd be
Yeah.
like, "This is incredible." The very first Beatles.
It's like
Probably
if you
shoot
would
myself.
put Riker in Picard's place and been like, "Hey, we just put in all the porn
Yeah.
into the holodeck. We just programmed it."
Was
He'd
that
be in
this
there.
episode or the last
There
episode?
was the two harpists.
where
and
he
he
was
Yeah.
just sitting there on his chair,
Yeah.
like,
Okay, so we were watching this episode last night, I'm like, I'm going to say this on the podcast tomorrow, but was he just watching porn?
It kind of
Is
seemed
that-
like it.
is that
It
what
got
was?
interrupted.
Like,
the
I'm not gonna lie, my kid was into it too. He was looking at it just like Riker was. I was like, "Oh, get off me!"
but how far into Pornhub do you have to go for harp porn? Like
you
what?
gotta go pretty deep, like 2020 deep.
Like
You've reached the boss level.
but they were clothed harpists.
Well,
at that point,
you're
we're early in the plot.
This is the story,
we were
man.
early in the plot.
they're
Yeah.
playing a harp for somebody, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, my
The
clothes
pizza
fell
guy,
off."
a pizza guy shows
I
up.
mean, it was kind of
The strings break.
Yeah.
He has to restring
like
it.
everything about why did they film
I
that
see.
scene? What
Oh,
was
you
the-
brought a finger banger with you.
What was the purpose of that scene?
Back
And-
then,
Porn?
in '88, they were like, 40 years from now, there's going to be some guys doing a podcast, and we're going to have to get the one ooh daddy guy.
it's not ooh daddy, it's ooh daddy. Daddy.
I can never.
It's so gross in my ears.
I'm ashamed we speak the same language.
Daddy, I'm stuck in the washing machine.
You need to say that in
The dryer.
in the
I'm
alien.
stuck in the dryer.
It's tomorrow's service.
You haven't seen those memes? Oh,
I'm
no.
making clips of this and just.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Exactly. You're going to send it directly to my superiors and be like, this guy has got to go.
Hey, anytime that you're doing a sermon and you reference Jesus talking and referencing God, Can you just have him call him daddy,
Daddy.
like that?
He's gonna
Normally, I sit pretty far in the back on account of the kid. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to be right up front, and I'm just going to go every time he looks at me.
So obviously, I'm immature by listening to this show, but there was one time where I was saying a prayer, and like in the middle of the prayer, I said something like, it's even hard for me to say now because it feels so sacrilegious, but I didn't mean it in that way. I'm like, Jesus, we ask that you come inside of us. And I'm like, I cannot believe I said that. But I'm like Jesus being present within us, right? So we're better people. But I said that, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I cannot believe I just said that.
I'm glad I wasn't there that day because I've been like, oh no, you said it.
And I couldn't believe I said that, and I
would've
didn't
been
mean
laughing
it.
Oh my
loud.
God, yes.
But I'm a child, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just said that.
There's probably that one dirty old lady at your church. There's got to be one where she's like, all right.
I want you to work that in.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Make
what
sure
she
I'm
said.
paying attention. You can
Which
just.
that sound clip alone cannot make it anywhere, just for the record. And I don't
Can we clip that?
no, never.
I will. I'm gonna clip. I'll clip that.
But it is funny. Like, it is hilarious to me how often churches say, like, church people or church leaders say super inappropriate things and they don't even realize it.
Out of
Because
context,
they're so like,
Innocent?
innocent or just
Let the Lord jerk you off.
Did you guys see the sports broadcast?
that one was a little, no, I never.
That's
No.
that's
No.
not inappropriate.
Jesus,
Let him
take the wheel?
What is happening? Okay.
And you guys just see the one, the broadcaster from an NBA game earlier this week where the last guy's name was Dick?
Yes.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he kept saying it.
He kept saying it.
And
Dick penetrates the hole.
He's like Dick fills up another.
It was fantastic.
I started this.
And the color guy was like calling him
I know.
Richard.
It's called by his first name.
Oh, by his first name, right?
Yeah.
Grayson.
Yeah.
It's great.
Grayson. Because the guy would be
Grayson.
like, Dick fills it. He's like, Grayson. It was like, great. I'll send it to you later.
So, anyways, Riker's watching porn.
You started it.
I don't know. It's just I really truly don't understand why that scene was in there. Was it? What is it? Is it
It's a show
supposed
that it was. Honestly, I think it was supposed to show that
The level of
the
technology?
holodeck table thing.
But why that scene for Riker? Like, are we trying to show that Riker's a horn dog? Like,
I don't think. I think it was supposed to be innocent.
I think
Actually,
the guy was just listening to some harps, man, and your corrupt
Not
mind
sitting
has-
like that.
No, he was.
That's how he sits. I heard there was an injury.
yeah, he hurt his back somehow.
He pulled a groin muscle or something.
Too much harp.
Why was
watching
it?
too
Why
much
were
harp
his
stuff.
pants unzipped then?
Yeah.
Why did he have a box of tissues by him?
A couple socks is weird.
Anyways, I never understood that. Anyway,
Socks.
Yeah, I don't understand that. All right.
Do you hold it around it, or is it?
Maybe when you're about to
Is
to
it
go,
just
and you just kind of it's a place for it to go.
Because if you hold it like in the sock, that's abrasive.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's
That's
too-
rough.
What if it was a wool, like a
Ooh.
wool?
I start these things. This is my fault. Like, I start these and I just move on. But,
And you know that we will take
Hey,
it. and run.
734-494-0980.
How have we not given the phone number out yet?
I know.
Okay, so getting to the actual point of this episode, he's in this hollow program, right? And this is the first time they really truly start to embrace the chemistry between Picard and the Doctor, right? And we saw them drugged
Yes.
be into each other, but we've never seen them be super interested. in one another.
Flirtatious or
Right?
whatever it is.
And he's flirtatious towards her too, more so once he's in the program when he sees her in that dress.
Crusher was crushing it, man.
Yeah, she
Well,
was.
I feel like he thought it wasn't supposed. Nothing in the holodeck is real, so that's where he can go.
It's like Vegas, man. What happens in there, you just got to keep in there. But
It's like,
what,
it is like Star Trek Vegas.
yeah, when Data and the historian wanted to come, and you saw the both of them kind of lower their shoulders in disappointment, I was like, same.
Yeah, but Picard invited.
Picard didn't. She did.
Oh, she did too,
Yeah.
or he did too.
Yeah,
I don't know
Yeah.
because he invited him. He
Yeah,
was like,
he
bring him
invited him.
along.
I know. I'm telling you, we pull up a clip in a little bit.
you're talking about once they were already in the program, but when they were
When they're in the meeting room,
ready
hey,
room.
I'm getting a fucking cramp in my leg. Sorry.
Do you need a hollow program of two girls with a harp?
I'm
Two
sorry,
girls, one harp.
I'm sorry this show isn't active enough for you.
We,
I don't know what happened there.
you're getting old,
I
man.
didn't drink enough water.
He's getting excited.
Yeah, so when
been looking
so
at
he
me for
goes
too long.
into the program, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He runs this whole Dixon Hill thing, which is a like noir detective novel from the 1940s.
And that's
30s,
not real,
40s.
is it?
I don't think it is.
Okay.
No, because the cool thing is when Data is like downloading all this stuff because he's jazzed and wants to be a part of it. The episode was written, I don't know the dude's name, Trey Torme or something like that.
Okay.
If you look at the screen, all of the Dixon Hill novels were written by the same
Trey
writer,
Torme.
Yeah.
which I thought was a cool nod.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then I was like, I don't know if I can compliment this guy on that because these guys say he's a horn dog. Clearly wrote the Riker porn scene.
There's nothing wrong with being a horn dog.
I know.
Unless, as long as
People
you get
need love,
consent.
Sean.
I'm gonna.
Love
All
is
right.
Consent
love.
is the important part of it.
So he's on there and then meets the lady that's gonna be murdered. Worried about it. Who was played by someone, but I can't think of who.
Originally,
She's
I thought it
on
was
something.
on the thumbnail on Paramount Plus. It looked like the profile looked like
I'll find
Catherine
out.
O'Hara,
Oh, I'll find out.
Oh,
and I was like, "Oh, is she in this?" And she was not, but she did look familiar.
Big
Yeah.
goodbye. Let me find out who it is for you.
I was kind of disappointed it wasn't Catherine O'Hara, but
Casting characters. Oh gosh. What's her? Maybe not.
I did enjoy that. They're looking forward to some alone time.
Him and
Crusher, he wanted to crush it.
I don't know. So this is what I'm not understanding. Is he super into her at this point?
what was the bad guy's name? Red
I
Block
don't-
or
I don't see it
Red
in there.
Blown?
Red something.
Red Block?
Why didn't you just go to IMDb so you can actually
Gosh,
see pictures of her?
who are you're a guest on this show?
He didn't go to IMDb.
How dare you vastly improve
hold on,
our
hold
show?
on. He didn't go to IMDb.
I
No,
went
he
to Memory Alpha.
and it just says a list.
Dude,
of
it shows you
characters.
the pictures right there.
I did not ask any of you.
Maybe you should.
So I'll be here next week.
Please.
I really hate you guys so much. The big goodbye. Here we go. IMDb.
What's
Oh, wow. Look at how not accessible any of this information is. I don't see her face at all.
It's better on the
Carolyn Allport. This is her. Madeline, wasn't it? Wasn't her name Madeline? That's definitely
not
not her.
her.
I think it was Madeline. I'm just going to keep saying Madeline. As
This
Picard
is
explains that he
embarrassing.
saw Jessica.
It is.
Oh, no, it's Jessica. Jessica's her name. Jessica Bradley.
Jessica Rabbit.
Carolyn
Oh,
Allport.
Jessica Rabbit would have fit in well here.
Carolyn.
This had a very Who Framed Roger Rabbit? feel
Exactly,
to it.
yeah. What a crossover that would be. It's a holodeck. Why not?
Here she is. Carolyn
Around the
Allport.
same- around
That's
the same
her.
time.
That's her right there. Boom. Carolyn Allport is her name.
What was the bad guy's name?
That's her.
Was it Red Block?
Red Block.
Red Block. Yeah.
Yeah. That was played by the actor that played Elaine Bennis's father on Seinfeld.
Yes.
Really?
I knew I recognized him from somewhere. Okay. So we got this whole big mystery.
Alton Bennis.
So this is the first of what will be many holodeck stuck in the holodeck episodes that happened in Star Trek. Many
Yes.
in DS9, many in Voyager. I guess that's it.
Yeah.
But there's
End of story. Cool story,
but
man.
they do that in Voyager a lot, like the Captain Proton and all that stuff.
But I do like it. It's a way to branch out a little bit.
Show their acting chops too,
Mm-hmm.
right? In different ways.
Different
Yeah.
characters
Yeah.
they can play.
I
So
do.
he's only been in 4 things.
We've already moved on, Sean. Learn how to work in a podcast.
Gee, we have another person that doesn't pay attention to the show.
Gosh.
Joe, we know what this is
I'm
like.
trying to fit the role.
You're doing a good job.
We're not going to call it replacement. We're calling it recast. Your name when you come on is to be Nick still.
You're gonna be like Becky on Roseanne. You're just gonna sit there and we're not gonna mention it. We're gonna call you Nick, and you're just gonna be there.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
fair.
That's very fair.
And
Might
then we're
have
gonna-
to shave your head though.
And then we're gonna bring Nick back after like another season, and then just make sure everything's
New
the
Nick
same.
didn't work out.
And somehow you're both going to be the same character, Nick.
That's true. They did that, didn't they? So I do like how in the holodeck though they were like the whole time they were like super. They had a hard time actually acting like they were in the program because they were like just amazed by the program itself. Like because they kept like smiling and laughing about it.
Well, yeah, they're not used to the era too, especially if you look at Crusher and Data.
It was like the whole thing about the automobiles was a trip in the ready room with Worf. Like, what is an automobile? And
Part of a teenage mating ritual, which gave Wesley a line.
cool. Wesley. Shut up, Wesley.
Don't say that.
It's a quote from the...
I know Will get mad at us.
I'm not saying it to Will. That would be rude, man.
Because he's certainly listening.
He's a fan of the show, friend of the show.
He's been on the show, man.
I know. I remember.
I would bet money since that day he has distanced himself from the show.
I just don't
far
understand.
as
You
possible.
come on here as a guest and you rip me. You insult our show. What are you wanting?
But we
from
do
this?
that, and we're full time.
But this is our house. We're allowed to do that.
That's true.
And my apologies.
You
You're
should
supposed to be like, you guys are the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Where's my daily affirmations?
I love the show.
No, you don't.
That was really
You guys-
That's hard to buy.
Sincere.
Joe, you're incredibly sexy. Nick,
See,
I like the way you look. And dang it, people like us.
They do.
They do.
They do. So
Stickers on
we'll get
laptops,
to listener feedback very shortly.
Yeah.
getting recognized
Oh,
at
yeah.
Comic-Cons.
So here's one of my
Big
things.
deal.
And I've talked about this many times before with Star Trek. The thing I always enjoy Star Trek for is when they ask like big important questions. There's nothing really in this one, is
Or
there?
the last one, really.
This is just a fun episode.
Yeah.
The last one was something about like there's this whole idea of fate and like
Destiny.
what role does fate and destiny play in our lives and do we have any control over it? Kind of, I guess, right?
And clearly, arranged marriages don't ever work out.
But like the previous episodes
Marriages-
prior to that were pretty
In general.
Like, I mean, before that you had hide and Q, like the
Power of God.
well, yeah.
That was
if you
probably
had
the most philosophical episode that we've watched.
yeah. Yeah, because the battle didn't really ask big questions per se. Justice did.
Okay, so that's really the one thing I'm having the hardest time adjusting from Battlestar Galactica and Deep Space Nine to Next Gen is how contained each episode is.
Yeah.
Like once it's over, it's like it's done.
We're not going to
And
talk
I'm like,
about
Next
this ever
place.
again.
and I'm like, okay, but
Planet
if
of
it
the
wasn't a
Week.
good episode, I'm like, what was the fucking point of that?
That's
Because-
this entire series, just so you know.
I know. It's going to take a little getting used to for it being so like episode being
Episodic?
yes, being so singular.
So I appreciate this in the sense that I could watch them out of order if I really wanted to, or like my son is watching these with me, and there's times where I'm like, "You ready to watch an episode?" He's like, "No, I don't want to watch it this week." So now I can actually watch them, and he doesn't miss anything. With DS9 and with Battlestar Galactica, it's like you miss an episode, you miss a big part of the plot. So now it's like, yeah, you can
There's some good
literally
and bad.
just come
There's
in.
some good and bad
You know,
Yeah. There's,
to it.
I don't mind the Planet of the Week thing because that's
I'm just
kind of
saying
the
it's
whole point of Star Trek.
I'm
To
just
show
saying
you
it's an
strange new
adjustment.
worlds.
For me, it's a major adjustment from because we watched two very plot-driven over the course of a season or even over the course of a series.
Yeah.
Like character growth, plot point growth, relationship growth, and now it's
What do you think?
episode by episode.
What do you think caused that? Like, what show do you think started the? We've got a beginning, we've got an end point, and this is the story, and everything kind of has to weave through.
Well,
just
that's
this.
a good point.
Because I mean, this was obviously pre-DVR and pretty close to like the advent of the VCR, so I'm sure people could record it. But like, I mean, you take a look at something like Doctor Who, where like literally they just threw away the episodes, you know, because it's like nobody's gonna watch this again. If you missed it, you missed it. Fuck you.
So I
Yeah.
already have the answer to that one. I'm just curious what you think was the show that started it, though, before I give you the answer.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm not sure. Because there were plenty of shows that had continuing story arcs in the 80s even.
Yeah.
Like you,
Miami Vice.
Quantum Leap.
No, Hill Street Blues was the
Hill Street
first,
Blues was phenomenal, by the
was
way.
the first U.S. show to have season and series arcs.
Hill Street Blues was phenomenal.
What year did Hill Street Blues start?
Hill Street Blues, Hill Street
Gotta
Blues,
get through
tucking
this
it,
first
Hill
before he tells
Street
you.
Blues. I'm looking it up.
I think it's early 80s.
81.
Wow. Okay.
What a good theme song.
It was a
it's
great theme song.
7 years before this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Twin Peaks was another one that did that.
Soap operas, of course, did it the entire time.
Yeah. But if you're talking about a show that kicked it in high gear in the 90s or whatever, in the 2000s, I think it was probably like Sopranos.
That and Lost in the 2000s was very serialized.
But Sopranos was before that.
I know. But you
So-
said 2000s as well.
Beverly Hills 90210.
Da-na-na-na, na-na-na-na.
I think like very much before The Sopranos, we were doing like
Oh yeah, there's
TV.
I mean, the original series was one and done. So
Yeah.
I just sort of like this to me. I get what you're saying, where you're like, okay, we came from Battlestar Galactica, where it was we have this story that we're telling.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, as a fan of sitcoms and really bad sitcoms, there are several season-long story arcs.
It
in
carries plot
sit-
threads. The
yeah.
will they, won't they plot threads.
yeah.
usually.
That one's Who's the Boss was that the entire time.
Yeah, who's the boss or
And you can and that kind
the
of
office.
blends that
Friends.
kind of, but even the traditional 80s and 90s sitcom blended those together pretty well,
Cheers.
where you can watch
Cheers
an
definitely did.
episode of Cheers or an episode of like Home Improvement or a traditional sitcom
On its own.
on its own, but mixed in there will be discussions of plot points that are multiple episodes
Right.
long, or maybe the arc of a season.
Yeah, you watch early episodes, it's all about Diane. Then you have, a new love interest later on, and then by the end it's Diane's back for a little bit. Like it's, with
I'll bring it back to Reba.
Jesus Christ.
Cheyenne has a drinking
I'm
problem.
a survivor.
Cheyenne has a drinking problem in season 5.
Oh, poor Cheyenne.
And
spoiler alerts though. Gosh.
I thought you wanted us to watch this show.
no, you guys are gonna. But originally Reba thought it was Vance. Turns out it was Cheyenne. He was covering for her.
Oh.
But that
sounds-
lasts over the course of like half of season 5 and even into season 6, where they reference it all the time.
I love how it somehow came back to Reba. I kind of appreciate that. It's like we planned it.
Did we even talk about this episode yet?
Not really.
Barely.
So
Which is a shame because this is a fun episode.
It was. They were both fun.
they're both fun. That's the thing. These are
Who did this episode better, DS9 or Next Gen?
well, okay.
Because they
I
both
don't
did
think this
very
is-
similar.
I don't think this is fair to Next Gen to judge it because
It's early.
Because DS9 had all this past to look at to see how they did these episodes. So I don't think it's fair. It's apples and oranges, right? Like if
What do you like better, apples? or
this
oranges?
was like the 15th holodeck episode Star Trek did, then I could do it. But this is the first one they've ever done, and I don't think they do. And there was some weird points to the there were some weird story beats or whatever to this one.
There's some lull.
Yeah,
I like when they first go in, like when everyone first goes into the holodeck, and like you see the shot of them in the holodeck, but
And
you
the
see the
crew.
doorway and the crew kind
Yeah.
of walking through.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
cool.
that was a cool shot.
It's amazing that they could still pull it off in the 80s
They
on a
did
TV
good
budget.
production. Well, yeah, it's good production, good television production, right?
Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of a nod to what's the episode where Bones goes
City
back
on
in
the
time,
Edge of Forever.
Yeah.
even though that wasn't.
Here's a weird, nerdy Star Trek nitpick, right? Nah, you got to get the nerd science stuff out. The second those characters walked out that
Yes,
door, they
thank
would have
God.
disappeared.
Yep.
The second
They would've made it out the
because
door.
there's no hollow emitters out in the hallway.
Thank you. Bugs me every time.
Wait, what?
So when Red
Red Bull,
Block and annoying
Red
guy
Bull
went
and
outside
Four
the
Loco.
holodeck,
Yeah.
they should have
Oh, that
disappeared
guy
as soon as they hit the doorway.
Yeah, they would have just
Yeah.
like as they go through, they would
There's
disappear.
no emitters in the hallway.
But no, they got to stand there and be like, "Oh, not like this." Not
Makes
like
for
that."
good TV.
No, not really.
I thought that looked a little cheesy, actually. That part, the way they did that.
I think
Do you think they just didn't have the budget for
Do you think
the-
it would have just
the
been better if the
special
door
effects?
opened and you just saw nothing?
yeah, they walked towards the door and voof.
they just gone.
I do actually.
You didn't want
Uh,
Roadblock there
and
to have
can we
this
get-
one moment.
If the roadblock was there from G.I. Joe, that'd be amazing.
And can we also talk about Picard not being empathetic and what's the word? Caring to his friend who's like, is my family going to exist?
Yeah.
I don't know.
well, it's
Dude,
not. That's
lie
not,
to him.
That's not his friend. It's a holodeck.
So what? Lie to him then. Just
No.
be like, yeah, they
No.
will.
No.
Come
I'm
on.
turn off. Done.
No, that's not cool.
I did feel a little bit bad when he asked that question.
And
Picard
the-
was so quickly.
Well, there's your
who
philosophical
knows, buddy? Lights off. I got to get out of here.
computer end program.
Look, I gotta
I
go
gotta
seal
go
this
live
deal
my
with the
life.
doctor over here.
I gotta go live my life. How do you like them apples?
Yeah, with my real crew members that aren't made of light.
Yep.
Oh, God.
I got kids on my ship too. You want them? Because I don't.
Is my family gonna be real?
And I think like that, 2 years ago, I would have just glossed. It's weird how things change because like the second he threw the family in there, I was like,
family's not real.
No.
You can throw the family in there. I'm fine.
There's some truth there.
It's still fresh, buddy. I'm
Yeah.
still into it.
Yeah.
I'm not hardened after years of frustration.
When that guy was a good actor too. Like his face he made when Picard made that comment, he was really good. They've done a good job with their guest casting so far, I think, overall. Minus Daddy Girl on the last one.
Oh my God. This guy's got a personal vendetta against that guy.
No, he's talking about the girl.
And Daddy.
What's worse, him doing that or me referencing Reba multiple times?
I'd go with Reba all day.
Sadly,
I'd
go with
worse
Reba
or better?
Better.
Oh, yeah.
Sadly, I'd go with Reba too.
You know, honestly,
you.
I'm going to go with Reba
The
as well.
the other character arc is Barbara Jean's weight loss
Oh my
journey.
God.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
You guys,
Was she wearing a pillow? Was she wearing a pillow in that
they gonna
episode?
do a
The episode
Reba?
where she?
I guess so.
A Reba pod?
I feel
Hey, guys.
so bad for the actress that plays that because that has to be
This is
tough.
freaking hilarious.
In the description, you
like-
got to go over Reba.
A time capsule of like, you know,
So
Sean and I are going to start. We're starting a Reba rewatch podcast.
in your description, we start our Reba review.
Patreon episode.
Patreon. We're going to just review Reba every single episode.
There goes the Patreon.
Okay.
I like that Sean actually knows the show.
Yeah.
So I can actually have, wait for it, intelligent conversation with him
About Reba.
About Reba.
So back into this episode, I'm really trying to keep us on track. I'm really trying. They decide to go down to the holodeck to fix it, and Riker's like, I'm going to go down. And then Wesley's like, can I come down too? I know how to fix things. And
I
he's
read
like,
all the schematics.
but I appreciate where he's like, no. And then she's like, Deanna's like, his mom's down there, bro. And he's like, okay, come along. I actually appreciated the way they did that. Because
Yes.
first of all, it's like, no, Wesley, you can't fix everything. But then he fixes it.
Yeah, then Wesley gets down there. He's like, Jordy, get out the
And
way.
he kicks Jordy right out of the way. And Jordy's like, okay, let me let this 13-year-old.
during Black History Month. That's ridiculous.
That was rough.
Don't worry, Jordy has his moment coming up in a few episodes.
Yeah, he does.
Now that I jumped ahead.
Yeah, he does. But I like that line. I appreciate how they're. What is he pointing at?
The Donatello.
Donatello.
Oh, he's hiding out in the
Yeah,
pot.
I liked it.
I appreciate how they brought in the human aspect of it there. You know, they haven't really done that for the most part with Wesley. He's just been this annoying bratty kid, and it's like, no.
And he was here too.
No, his mom was missing. Okay, here's my
I
thing.
hope none of us have to go back in time and visit our 13-year-old selves to realize how annoying we were.
But we
I
were
was-
written that way.
I was a delight, sir.
We weren't
Why
written
can't
that
they
way.
just? Here's a question: why can't they just blow a freaking hole in the holodeck door?
Because you might take them out. Didn't they say that? Didn't they say something along those lines? Like if you like rough in there, everybody could disappear.
Or how about this? Turn off the
no.
power.
Unplug it and plug it back in?
Yeah, like just unplug
Power
it.
cycle for the love of God.
There's no IT on the Enterprise?
Exactly. Hello?
I think you guys know how TV works. This has to fit in a certain time frame.
Well, it would have shortened the time frame if you just unplugged it and plugged it back in.
And then they could have focused more on the story of the whodunit because there was never like the whodunit. The object, we don't know what the object was.
So it was,
Why didn't Deanna Troy just marry that guy? And why didn't they just blow the lepers out of the sky like that planet asked him to?
Could have been done.
Big bang boom.
Because
then we
they're
can
the
go back
Federal-
to some Reba. Me and Joe are gonna go to a holodeck and just live out a Reba. We're gonna be the next door
You're gonna
neighbor
be
to
in the
Reba.
Reba. You're gonna be Reba in the episode.
and this is why holodecks will never be invented.
Okay. Well, anyways, Picard gets back to
I'd
the
be
bridge.
Riker
He gives
watching
the greeting.
heart porn.
He gives the greeting, and the episode ends. So there we go.
So first of all, the whole language thing, they robbed that for an insurrection later.
Yes, they did. They reused it, which is kind of a cool thing. They're
Sure.
doing a callback, right?
Brock.
Brock, that's it.
Comic book rankings rated this the 11th best holodeck themed episode of Star Trek of all time.
11th.
How many episodes on the holodeck are there?
There's a number
10.
of them.
There's a
10.
lot.
There's 10.
There's
There's
a lot.
10. No, there's 12.
There's a lot. I can see if I can find the
I
article.
did see somewhere where it's like every holodeck episode somehow probably turns into an orgy, and there's some type of there's a show called Lower Decks
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
that deals with.
Lower Decks is really good actually. It took
I
me a
think there
while.
might
to
be
get
too
into.
much Star Trek stuff.
No, because we have to keep this podcast going. We need it.
When I was watching that YouTube video of themes and we got to Enterprise, I was like, yeah, I'm probably checking out at Voyager. And then it jumped
to Discovery.
Enterprise is after Voyager.
Yep.
Enterprise is after Voyager, and then it's Discovery.
Discovery.
That's the one I've heard nothing good about.
Some people swear by it.
Yeah, some people adore it.
I can't say it. We gotta edit it.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
I just know the internet got real riled up about that. I'm just asking a question, guys. I'm a newbie.
My goodness. Okay, so
so maybe we do edit.
Honestly, he brought up no. He just brought up a good point. Is it that people don't like it because it's a black captain, right?
Which I know Cisco is, but it was the combo of lady.
It's a black woman, right?
To your point, kind of Deep Space Nine is like just tossed away
because it's a black captain. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. There's a big element of racism that is
just like your Reddit post.
Does that? Okay, so you guys.
Because they pick Adama over.
Well, you're not like
there's some truth to that.
You're just strapped along for this ride, aren't you? You're not some lifelong Star Trek fan, are you?
I'm here for the podcast.
A Reba. He's more of a Reba guy.
Well, that's this side of the table.
You watch DS9 in the morning when it's on.
I watch it if it's on.
But I mean, you're like because it's like I'm not some dude that was like immersed in the culture. Like I went to a Star Trek convention when I was a kid because it had comic books.
Yeah, I'm not.
But you're not like immersed in the culture.
No.
Like this guy's been flying. Me and him went and saw the Kelvinverse movies together. Yeah, like he's been flying the flag the entire time.
I bought the Kelvinverse cups from Burger King when they were released.
It's true.
And you, I assume, have also been a pretty big fan your whole life.
Whole
right?
life, yes.
Okay,
whole life.
So I've it's been around, and it's things that like my friends were into, but like I had my own interest and I'm kind of hyper focused when it comes to those types of things.
Yeah,
and won't that's why I'm blowing through episodes of the first season and not keeping pace with the show because I just get excited, right? So I only ask that because it's like,
can we watch another episode, Daddy? Yes, of course.
Gross. So I just know that like, it just surprised, and I have the same issue like being a comic book fan because it's like I've been an X-Men fan and that's been a multi-ethnic cast the entire time,
right?
And so
that was a big point of the show.
Yeah, and so I don't get the whole like, oh, there's too much diversity. That's bad. I don't get that.
Well, see,
and
with
I find it weird that Star Trek because I sit there and like because Ashley's kind of like, you're like all about this, and it's like, dude, I'm watching this with my 1-year-old who doesn't understand any of it, but just likes the noise of the ship.
Me too.
Well, like
because it's like this is the world that I would like for him.
Well, the problem,
but then the fan base is like, black lady, bad.
No, I don't think.
No, see, here's what it is. Like,
or is it a bunch of outsiders that are like, let's tear this down because that's the thing to do now?
That's what it is. I think we live in a world that's just so divisive. And I think part of it was when they made Discovery, they're like, let's make Star Trek edgy. So, like, there's a literal Klingon sex scene in there where you see Klingon boobs. I'm not joking. Klingon boobs, yes.
What are we doing wasting our time with season 1 of Next Generation?
Like, there's a literal Klingon
Reba
sex scene.
Doesn't have any Klingon
so it's
boobs,
like,
bro.
No, it really doesn't.
And it's another, like, so it's like it's trying to be edgy for the sake of being edgy, and I think that's what people pick on. But people
and it's obvious.
But people are also pricks today, like where they're like, "Oh, it's so woke." It's like, "Oh, did you not watch 1960s Trek?"
Well, the thing is, to Nick's point,
a character was black. Part of his face was black. Part was white. Like
that's the whole episode about. They had a black woman on the bridge. They had first interracial kiss. They had a Russian on the bridge. They had a Japanese guy on the bridge. Type of thing. Star Trek has been about diversity, and Next Generation was maybe a little vanilla.
A little?
Just saying, being tactful. But
minus Worf.
This is Geordi.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Wow.
During Black History Month. Wow. How dare you?
You guys, I don't see color.
Either does Geordi.
Oh, that's a blind joke. That's not cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
That's
but
not cool.
It's always been progressive in that way
infrared,
because
baby.
it's supposed to be what do we strive for? And if we're good human beings, we should strive for that diversity.
This episode is going to get us canceled for so many reasons, just for the record.
I'm not saying
There's been blind jokes. There's been jokes about little children. There's been jokes.
Mood lighting.
This guy, Someone behind a cloud, and I got real romantic in here.
It did.
Say it. Say it.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Anyway, yeah, he doesn't do it on command.
No, I don't. I don't work that way.
But it's
Daddy.
always been like that. But if you go into the case of Discovery,
I just want to make sure that I got like that. This isn't the normal reaction because
it's normal, unfortunately. But I also think that like with Discovery, if you look at Discovery,
Disagree.
There was a little bit of a heavy hand there, and it didn't let it happen organically like they did in TOS or DS9, wherever it might have been. They didn't make a big deal out of it. He wasn't a black captain; he was a captain.
Right.
Uhura was just a communication officer. She
Right.
wasn't a black communication. So it seemed like that was just supposed to be part of the norm, where Discovery was just kind of.
I think what Discovery does actually is it tries to pretend like these people have 21st century ideals in the 24th. So, for instance, there is a transgender character in one of the seasons, which if society is so advanced by that point, it should be no big deal that this person decides to be transgender. But they made a big freaking deal about it on the ship, right? So I think that's part of it. It's like, that was the thing about the original series Star Trek. They didn't make a big deal about the things they did. They just did it.
Well, they had to hide it too.
Okay, yeah. But like, it's almost like it's pandering. I think that's what it is. It's too much pandering.
Okay.
But on the other side, I can't not like Discovery because I think it's bad storytelling overall. Because now I'm a hate monger.
Right. No. I mean, trust me.
Oh, you are, though.
You are.
As a comic book fan, I completely.
Oh, yeah,
understand
yeah,
that
exactly. So,
mentality of,
like,
Yeah, if you don't like
I've
it, then
legitimately been reading X-Men comics for over 30 years, and if I'm like, oh, that seems a little wonky, it's immediately.
Yeah.
you're a dirtbag.
Whereas I just don't enjoy the storytelling, the way it's handled. The pacing was weird. It was just things where they jumped to points. And I'm like, it just wasn't for me.
There was
Part of
weird
me is
jumps.
worried about the newer stuff from like technological advancement, because part of my love for the original series is just like
How simple it is.
yeah, it's the same thing with like Doctor Who. Like I'm just like, okay, I love rubber
Yeah, here's
monsters,
his screwdriver, sonic screwdriver that does everything.
Yeah, like when you do Strange New Worlds, you kind of got to make sure your point earlier where it's like a TV show, cool. Because like the bridge is 6 times the size of the original series bridge, but it's the same
you have
Enterprise.
a real issue with the bridge sizes. I just don't. You've brought it
about
up multiple
size,
I
times.
like things big.
It's not about size. It's not the size of the bridge.
Size matters.
It's how many people come on your bridge to run the ship.
Okay.
Do you think my daddy can come on the bridge?
God.
We have gotten so off topic of these episodes.
Let's just rate these pieces of shit and get out of here.
No, I don't think they were though.
I give them both 6s.
Did we talk about this episode at all?
We did. We talked about it a little bit. Not a
You
lot.
recapped it in the beginning.
Yeah, so we didn't need to
We
do
didn't have
anything.
to do anything. You know what happened.
Dude, the whole point is not to talk about, like, it's to review it after it. I just don't
What
understand.
he does is he recaps it and we make jokes
Okay.
and then
And
we
then
rate it.
we recap
I
it again.
really should have listened to an episode.
Yeah. Those half listens, you should have made them full
really,
listens.
really detrimental to the latter half of the show. I enjoyed how
Legitimately, I give them both 6s.
Listen, because Cohen from Kirk, who is the best captain, to Picard, who's a goddamn stick in the mud. Sorry that I just said, boy, I got to do a lot of repenting to my pastor tomorrow.
Yeah. That's Catholics.
Of all the things,
I'm glad he's not here.
you know what's weird is, like, I will say anything and everything, but that's the one thing I won't do. I will never do that.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
What?
Never
Take the
say-
names. Lord,
never say
Lord's
GD?
name?
The
Yeah.
the old GD one that I just
Yeah,
dropped
like when
about
your
a-
daughter does it all the time, it makes me feel icky.
And I mean, he watched me accost some volunteers once. If we haven't been,
that was hilarious.
I'm a different guy
He's like-
on Sunday.
Like, just so you know, at this Comic-Con, I might get a little touchy. And then all of a sudden, he's like screaming and yelling at volunteers. Like, bro, they didn't do anything.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
That was great.
That was great.
It was glorious. To be fair, they're like, go over here. No, go over here. I don't know. They had no clue what they were doing.
I like Comic-Con, Sean. It's fun.
It was kind of scary, actually.
I like it.
I felt like I had to call him daddy.
Oh no.
I give these episodes 6s. I want to get the fuck out of
All
here.
right, can we?
You can't get the out of here. It's your house.
I know.
Should we go to
Actually,
rating?
I want to rate them so we can move on to listener feedback.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, this episode is so long. It's a 2-hour episode.
I told you size matters.
Hold on, let me make sure I pull up the sheet for our reviews.
But I did like how insanely excited Picard was, because for the first 9 episodes of this, like I think it's why
boring.
I enjoyed these two so much, is because in Haven you get like him pulling some jokes with the suitcase.
Okay, so the suitcase joke I liked, but I also liked in the second episode the joke of him walking around with the lipstick on him and everyone's kind of like looking at him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Crusher wipes it off, and she's like, "I want to lick that off."
Like
Daddy.
I
wish she
legitimately
would've.
feel like they tried to course correct and mellow Picard in these 2 episodes, which is why I think I liked him so much more.
Especially after the last episode, the hide and Q, where he's like, "Yeah, you should have let that kid die."
Oh, Q shows up and my brain goes dead. I don't know. I do not enjoy that character.
Wow.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
someone on my side.
Wow.
Yeah, I hate you.
I don't know. Something about it just bums me out. And to know already that this is like, he's like an overarching thing.
Shut up.
What are those?
Don't care.
What are the guys that were like the weird looking aliens that I had?
Frankie.
Man, to know that they were supposed to be the big bad, what a misstep.
And DS9 does a great course correction.
Well,
on
they
them.
do it
Makes
later in this show, too.
Yeah. They really course correct them, fix
that
them
episode,
up.
I
but-
definitely agree with your guys' score on that episode.
Yeah.
The battle.
Code of Honor.
Code of
Guys
Honor.
were all wrong.
Wow, you have some hot takes here, my friend.
I'm just kidding.
All right, Haven.
That's what we do. We joke on the show.
A lot of Tasha Yar, though.
That's
Six.
true. I'm going to add Sean on here because I'm assuming you'll be a guest more often in Next Generation because you're really enjoying it.
I want to come back for Skin of Evil because I want to hear this review.
Okay, so Haven. Joe gives a 6. Haven. I loved Haven. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Dude, I called it yesterday.
5.
Mrs. walked by and she was like, "You're loving this episode." Because I watched it again.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, "You're loving this," and I was like, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10? Is this
Dude, that episode was so much fun.
it was a lot of fun, but like
Are we going to drug test Sean?
honestly, with the creepy pedophile ship people.
Sean's got a contact
That's
buzz.
only
Oh,
you.
that's inbreeding.
He's the
That wasn't
only
pedophile. That was inbreeding.
person
Sorry.
who has gone down this pedophile inbreeding rabbit hole.
Weird.
That was a dad who the rest of the ship was probably like, "Really, dickhead? We're following your crazy ass daughter." who's
Yeah, he
having
probably had to deal with
business
all
some
kinds
I
of
know,
He
crap.
had to deal with all sorts of stuff, and then finally he's like, "Yes, yeah,
I
in your face."
told you
My
so.
daughter is right. There's the guy she wants to bang.
Yep.
He's right there.
And so
We did
he
all
just
this
put
for
his
Dick.
arm around her and was just excited for her. There was nothing creepy going on there. pal. He
Nothing.
was
Nothing creepy about any of that.
She wasn't afraid of the dick.
Nothing creepy about her being like, "Dad, I have these fantasies about this man."
Like,
Nothing
I love how
creepy
you
about
guys
that.
look at me like I'm insane for saying 10 out of 10. Hilarious. Drunk lurch.
Okay, that's true.
Nurse Chapel talking about porn and nudity the entire time.
That's a good. That is like her with Picard. Like,
Yeah,
ooh,
yeah.
Your
Oh,
thoughts
you're having worse
based,
thoughts
are
than
pretty
that,
much
right?
purely pornographic.
those.
0 Wesley Crusher.
Oh,
10, 10, 10, 10.
all right. 8.5. 8. No, 8. 8. I'll give it an 8.
I
I'll
feel
give
like a
it an 8.
season 1/6 is basically a 10.
Yeah, I agree. That being said, 5.5.
I'm kind of more with you. I agree. You made some valid points. Like Troy, the whole time, man, she was dropping some banger, like some really funny
It's
stuff.
easily
And
manipulated.
you have talked about how, like,
I am.
she hasn't been, like, used. I truthfully feel like this is the first episode where you start to see everybody come together. And I feel
As a
like,
crew, yeah.
yeah.
This is a good crew episode because even like the dinner and they're
Yeah.
all there. They're all part of. Tasha was there, right?
Yeah, Tasha. Oh, yeah. Hold
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Hold
She
on.
looked great.
They had the weird hair.
Okay, so I was going to say something about that.
Her and Crusher.
Because I was watching
the-
the episode
Yeah,
and I
like
was
the
like,
fluff.
Yeah.
did Crusher cut her hair? And then it was long again towards the end of the episode. So I was like,
It was
yeah,
just
that's
for the
weird.
meal.
I have no idea because both
I
their
don't
hair
know how
looked
they did it.
ridiculous.
no, Tasha just looked great.
No. Oh, my gosh.
I am into
with
that
Sean.
woman.
Really? You're into that 80s, like, vacuumed hair?
I don't.
I
don't
just-
see
I
it
think
with
she has a good-
Tasha.
I just think she has a good look
don't
about
know.
her, like
The whole thing.
in totality.
Gotcha.
It could be the authoritarian thing, Daddy.
Oh my god! What is happening?
I don't know. I'm looking for it. Don't you just want to do this, me and you?
Yeah,
I'm not going to be able to look at you at church tomorrow. Can't look at this guy.
Oh, buddy, I'm going to make sure you lock eyes with me at some point during the sermon. I don't even care if I have to ignore the kid.
He's going to do this. He's going to do this.
I'm going to do any prayer request, and he's going to be like, oh, I want to offer
Joe?
prayers for my friend Tasha.
I'm glad we're not there tomorrow.
No, we'll be at the.
We'll be getting rammed by a bunch of men.
Yes.
Okay. The big goodbye.
Can we say big goodbye to this show today? Bye, guys.
Yeah. 6. I
6 again?
yes.
5-5.
10 from Sean.
No, I give it a 7.
I was going to say 6.5. I can't decide if it's a 6.5 or a 6. I'm going to go 6, actually. You give it a 7, Sean?
Sure.
It's solid. It's not the best. It's not bad. It's not good.
In this season, it's one of the best.
And this season it is. These episodes are trending up, too, even with the IMDb averages.
Heart of glory.
We're starting to get to consistent
We're not there
6s
yet.
and 7s. Though we got Angel 1 coming up next week, and that is a hated episode.
Was it next week? Is Angel 1 and 110110001?
Data Lore.
Data lore? Okay.
Data lore.
Data Lore. Which I'm normally not a big fan of those like evil twin brother things, but you know, I'm down for this.
And they did it twice in the show.
And in Picard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought Lore back for Picard. Spoilers.
Listener feedback.
Yes,
You guys-
Joe. Sorry.
Okay, so
You got cut off, Joe.
So Angel 1, you got a problem with Angel 1?
No, it's hated on IMDb though. Like it's
Who
like
cares about IMDb?
Yeah, it's true. That is true.
it's hated by Star Trek fans too.
I like how you're at
Who cares about Star Trek
IMDb.
fans?
when-
I know for the
when-
rating.
For the rating, but when you actually need to look up an actress, you're like memory.
Let's go the long way.
You are the guest on this podcast.
I'm taking over.
He's shadowing you.
I'm supposed to be daddy. You're supposed to respect daddy.
So Nunick,
So, anyways, listener feedback.
yeah, Joe had something.
Joe,
No,
go ahead,
I
Joe.
don't care.
Go ahead, Joe.
I don't care. Just play the voicemail.
Are we playing the whole thing?
What thing?
The voicemail?
No, we talked about it earlier,
We did?
didn't we?
We didn't talk about anything before the show.
No, we
Everything's
literally
been
went
fresh.
right into this. Actually, we did. We're talking about playing a bit of it.
Okay.
Bit of it. So we got this really cool voicemail. We want to play part of it for you. Have a listen, folks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The worst thing ever has happened to me. The worst thing that has ever happened to me, ever, will ever happen to me, has happened. And there is no coming back from it. Not one bit. I'm sitting in my 6th hour today. It's my first day in the new semester. It was pretty good. You know, I have 2 friends in that class. I was chilling. Talking to my friend who sat behind me. And all of a sudden I noticed something. I look a little bit past them. This kid is sitting a little bit behind all of us. And, like, I've seen this kid in the hallway before. So I know him. And I look at their laptop. And I think, no way. No way. Because on this high school student's laptop is a Keeping Up with the Cardassians sticker. And my heart just, like, sinks to the
I'm going to
floor.
start fading out there for that one.
Boo!
So if you don't know who that is a guest host of the show and
Uber critic of all of us.
and her daddy's on this podcast.
Jesus Christ.
Wow, you made that inappropriate. Are you not her daddy?
No, I'm not. I'm her father.
Her father's on this podcast. That doesn't have the same role of the tongue.
No, that's why I
Really-
said
really
it.
doesn't.
Father, daddy, papa, grandpa, uncle.
I don't think she's going to feel comfortable with you playing that and then following it up.
That's a good point. So, anyways, that was Sid.
Cut out of the YouTube.
And yes, we have fans that. I remember when we started this podcast, Sid was giving us a hard time. She's like, you guys are so embarrassing. No one will ever watch your podcast. No one will ever like it. Star Trek is lame. Sid is obsessed with Star Trek now.
I'm happy that it has come to fruition during high school for her.
Yes. Yes. And I love it. I love it that we got some fans. I love it. If you are the fan who has a sticker, please
6th hour.
leave us a text message, 734-494-0980, or call and leave a voicemail.
This
We'd love to
dude
hear
is not.
No, not after this episode.
I'm sorry.
This
2024, I made the assumption that it was a dude.
I think she said this.
She said dude.
Okay, well, I don't know what his pronouns are, man.
You just said I don't know what his pronouns are.
I'm terrible at this. I'm an old man.
Canceled, bro.
I'm glad Leslie said don't get Sean canceled.
I haven't done anything that can't. Well, yeah, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. If you take some quotes of mine out of context, there's some
Which
very
I absolutely
cancelable.
will.
There's some very cancelable.
I'm gonna do a remix tape to it. It's gonna be awesome.
Gosh. There's another. We got another text message in here.
Yes.
And we can't.
I don't say the name. I don't know if they want us to say the name.
Who are you talking about?
Just go with the listener feedback. Don't listen to Rob.
Okay.
So someone sent a message in, and I'm just going to read their quote.
There you go.
So first of all, they
Do you
said,
want to do context first of why that was sent to us?
So last week, Rob said, call 734-494-0980. Feel free to text us, right? Rob said that. Okay.
This is true.
And this is their exact quote. While I'm not a big fan on the sexting, I'll grant you this pussy pic. That was the end quote. And first of all, you're like, oh my gosh, we're getting dirty pictures.
It's happening
from people. No, it's a picture of two adorable cats. So two adorable kitties.
Do we know the cats' names?
I don't know. Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, I was wondering if
Batman and Robin.
if they actually sent in the names of the cats.
No, we just know they're kitties.
Batman and Robin. I like that one.
I do too.
Yeah, so thank you for sending in that pic. We appreciate
Reba
it.
and McIntyre.
But to be fair, there was two in that picture, and you only referenced one in your text. So if you're going
it's one. It's a one. What the singular is the picture. She sent one picture.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay, one. Yes, that's a good point.
And I think
Come here for grammar lessons.
You got me.
I think isn't the plural of that word the P word? Isn't the plural of that also?
I love
is it
how
like
now
deer?
you're like the P word after all this. That's
This feels weird. But is the
it is a weird word.
Is the
I feel
plural
like
of is the
that's
plural
an uncomfortable word to me.
Is the plural
Is that
of pussy
uncomfortable to
still
you?
pussy? Or is it?
I think it is.
And
Because you see,
Is it like deer?
Like back when you used to use it, like you're a bunch of
sitting around with
you
you,
would-
guys, 100%.
No, I think it is IES.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
What happened?
We're doing grammar lessons here, ignoring anything that's
This is
happening
like
on
the
Nick's
most
side.
cancelable episode I've ever been on. I swear, like
Nick,
for me.
we are
have I done?
uncancelable.
For me.
Have you listened to this show? We are
It's a good thing.
Well, you
nobody-
guys gave me a bunch of crap because I told
you
someone to
can't
kill
cancel-
themselves.
I've been on some drugs today, guys.
You can't cancel something nobody knows exists.
This is true.
Amen, brother.
Yep.
Amen. That'll preach.
That's
every
the benefit
single
of doing
day.
a podcast no one cares about.
This has been keeping up with the Sorry, I jumped ahead. I was doing your part.
I know you were. So next week, though, we got two more episodes, Data Lore and Angel 1 to review. We'll see if
We're still around.
we'll see if we continue trending up. We are trending up. Our season averages have adjusted now. I'm at a 3.86. Rob is at a 3.32 overall, and Joe's at a 3.73.
You know-
Sean is at a 8.5.
You know what's funny? So earlier you talk about how I stick up for DS9 and blah blah blah. Look at my season ratings. I rate it lower than you guys on a pretty consistent basis.
You always rate things lower. That just
Yeah.
consistent. Everything
That's
we
Especially the-
watch.
That's so he can circle back and be like, "No, guys,
Yeah.
I rate them lower."
Especially
I-
especially the Beatles because they're overrated.
You can dislike the Beatles. You cannot say they're overrated.
I
That's
can
like
say they're
literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And
Overrated.
I've said a lot of stupid stuff
is
today.
true.
I think it's speaking of fate and things being kismet. I think it is fate that that Sean is here on the episode that comes out after the Super Bowl, where Reba McIntyre is going to sing the national anthem.
And it all comes back to Reba.
I love it.
Well, if you've been a survivor of this episode, tune in next week. We'd love to have you. It's been fun. I shouldn't say it's been fun.
It's been something.
It's been something.
You know
guys
what it
didn't
is?
have
It's
fun?
the new theme song. We're still getting used to everything. Everything was fine until we changed the theme song. Now we're all
Oh,
jumbled.
exactly.
So
I'm
now
gonna blame it on that, not
Yep.
on me.
We just have to recalibrate ourselves to a new theme song.
All right, everyone. Thanks for keeping up with us. This has been Nick.
This has been Rob.
Joe.
Sean.
We'll give you Sean's personal address to cancel later. Have a good one. Bye.